With 20 days left to draft before the NFL season starts, here's how my best ball portfolio is currently looking according to bbmdb.com. We are killing it right now in the metrics I want to see. Here's the expected advance rate, 62 teams, only a 1.8% chance that we are just an average-ass advancer. In fact, there is a 14.5% chance that we are advancing at a 28 to 29% clip. Things are looking good, but it is time for an actual draft here on stream. Let's go over here. Let's put my big dumb face on. It is a Splash Play NFL Best Ball Draft here. It is Thursday, guys. It is, what is it, August 20th here. For some reason, I feel like on a Thursday, I need to open a beer. I don't know why. It's such a vibe setting here to drink a Modelo Oro here, a 60-calorie, 4% ABV beer. But boy, party time here on Splash Play. Let's go. Literally the last beer I have. Mentioned on the MLB stream today. We're going on family vacation with Alex's side of the family. Do it once every summer. So we're doing it next week. And that means no best ball stream for me, but it also means I got a lot of shit to do in these next couple days. Anyway, we got Christian McCaffrey. He's been banged up in camp. Tightness was a report. Also some reports out there that were like, oh, he's probably holding out for more money, which frankly would have been fair with the increases in the RB market. But no, it is in fact apparently just actual tightness. He'd be able to go is what they were saying if there were games right now. But, you know, they said that last year too. So hopefully things are okay for McCaffrey. Right now, though, who knows? Chunk, I love my colored username on this channel. I think that's that we leave those words in the 1950s, Chunk. But yes, you are a member on this channel. Look, I encourage you guys. I know obviously you have a membership on the site. You don't need to have a YouTube membership, but because you do get access to the Discord with that. You get the actual stuff on the site for cheaper than through YouTube. But, you know, it's nice to have your name with a badge, right? I think keep that, you know, get them on both channels. Hold on to yeah, give me the extra $5 a month between both channels. After YouTube's VIG, of course. But it is a new day here, of course, a new draft. What do we have to catch up on? I mean, Jaden Higgins, the big injury, ACL. I should take a sip of the beer. I shouldn't just open it and fucking not drink it I'm actually, guys, here's the thing. I don't actually drink alcohol. I just do it so you think I'm a relatable guy. Yeah, Jaden Higgins, ACL tear, not great. I was at 9% across DraftKings and Underdog. We will be doing today DraftKings Best Ball Mania Draft is the first one. We'll do Underdog Best Ball Mania Draft, excuse me. We'll do a DraftKings Millie Maker Draft after this one. Then I'll probably be sick of DraftKings because those drafts take for fucking ever. So we'll go back to Underdog BBM after that. But this is draft number 105 for me or so, I think. I think I have like 45, 44 left, something like that. We got McCaffrey as a start here. Of course, you can see combinatorial ownership with this tool, my Best Ball Champion tool, just linked down in the description. Achan, I have 11.5% of, not a lot of A.J. Brown either. I'd like to get the wide receiver. I feel like A.J. Brown, Quinion Mitchell said that apparently he's looking faster, which felt like a little bit of a dig. Looking stronger, which also felt like a little bit of a dig. But, you know, it didn't seem like he had an outlier day in the Patriots-Eagles shared practices. But thankfully, he didn't tear his ACL like Jaden Higgins. Yeah, for Higgins, though, to close the loop on him, I guess, I thought he was in for a good year. Seemed to me as well, kind of like the Texans are hedging a little bit against Nico Collins and wanting to pay him the big outlier contract that he's probably due with where that market has gone. And I think for how it was as well for Jaden Higgins, he's really one of those guys where I think the youth that he had, you expected to get better as the years go on. The fact, too, that in college, he was a pretty good target earner, high EPA guy as well, which is still something I swear by, particularly the data that I use from Sports Info Solutions. You'll be seeing more of on this channel coming up, the NFL DFS season, really around the bend. But yeah, for Jaden Higgins, I thought he was really in a spot where he might have been able to, if not overtake Nico, take a real share for himself. And if the team, maybe was going, hey, we want to move away from Nico, you could see that role start to shift. But now, Hutchinson's probably going to get a lot of snaps out there. He's another guy who I think graded out well in college, but didn't really live up to that so far while playing a lot of snaps, running a lot of routes as a pro. Tank Dell, I don't know what he can really do, but I do think he's more of your natural outside guy with them clearly preferring to get Jalen Noel in the slot. Christian Kirk's gone, so there's opportunity to go around there, and I'm kind of curious to see, where it does go. I feel like this is a backhand compliment. Surprised to not see you in the top 10 yesterday. I was in the top 10 in the rally cap, so you were not in the right tournament. But yeah, no, not in the other ones. I mean, to me, again, the metric is still top 100s. I had 9 top 100s in the MLB yesterday. So like MLB is running really well. Very excited for what that portends for the NFL season, because I think a lot of the data lessons seem to be that there is crossover in how you approach MLB and how you approach NFL. So they'll be starting fast, guys, because we're going to have a whole new NFL process here on the channel. Devontae Smith, the top option in terms of ADP, the top option in my sim as well. We do need to make up a little more capital at wide receiver after starting with the Christian McCaffrey pick. And I am going to go Devontae Smith here. I don't even care what the exposure is. Let's see. Do we have this combo? We do not have a Christian McCaffrey, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith combo. So we are reuniting two players who were destined to not be on the same team this year. Devontae Smith, obviously the hope for him, if you are taking him, is that he becomes JSN in this offense. Seems like good camp reports so far for the Eagles offense with Sean Mannion taking over as the offensive guy, offensive coordinator, and the play caller. So that all bodes well. It's supposed to be the internal hires they keep promoting and then failing miserably with. But I think for how it looks for the Eagles, I mean, getting Mekhi Lemon out early, another thing where the ADP drops so much. People see hamstring injury and they're afraid. Devontae Smith, ADP never really dropped for him, but it did kind of keep him from rising more. I think he looks good. And I think in this team too, if Jalen Hurts aligns, I think pick 66 would be nice, potentially to reach a little bit for him. I think we can do that as well. But shout out to all you guys watching live here. Again, probably my last draft of August, if I had to guess, because I'm going to be out of pocket next week. So we're going to try to make it a good one. Honestly, might go a little bit long today. It is a day where Luca's cared for by my mother-in-law. So I got nothing to do really until 5. And MLB too is basically done for the day. Well, I mean, I'm not playing. There'll be updates for the late slate for me on the site, but I'm not playing it later. I can get enough in by 12:30. That's all we need for a day. You can see around the bend here, RB Central. I feel like it's tough, man, when you are picking these spots. And I think this guy not taking a receiver at this point, going Josh Allen, really would question that. I feel like you got to start to make it up at receiver if you take those 2 RBs in the first 2 rounds. But we're on the clock here. I feel like McMillan, yep. Tetaroa, as his friends call him. I call him Tet because I don't respect the fact that he wants his own nicknames. He wants to be T-Mac. He's not T-Mac to me. It's only Tracy McGrady. We got a Christian McCaffrey. We got both Macs here. We got Christian McCaffrey, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Tet McMillan. Looking good at receiver. Still want to get to 150 points of draft capital there based on the sim, as you can see here. But it'll color green when we get to the area we're supposed to get, and it'll color yellow if we are not where we need to be or too high. It'll color red if we're nowhere close to where we're supposed to be. That's what the Best Ball Champion does. I haven't plugged it yet, I guess, in a real way here on stream, but check it out for yourself. bestballchampion.com, link in the description. You can also go to splashplaypodcast.com. It is one package, so you get my MLB DFS stuff and the Best Ball Champion at once, along with NFL DFS coming. Actually, I guess if you sign up for a month now, you'll get part of the NFL DFS season with it. I'll be covering showdowns on the site, be covering all the primary slates as well. So your main one, your afternoon, Sunday night football, Monday night football, Thursday night football, Wednesday night football is the opener this year. Who could believe it? They've gotten to Wednesday, but I'll be covering them all on the site too. So I guess a quick plug here for what I'm actually doing. Splashplaypodcast.com, getting there now. Price is going up next week because I am launching a new tier called the Apex tier. It's going to have my lineup builder, well, actually my lineups and my portfolio builder, which is going to be very exciting to have. VIP is also going to get a version of the portfolio builder, which takes an export from Stochastic. So I think that's a pretty cool way to do things as well, where I can tier things, still give you guys on VIP something, especially because a lot of you guys are already Stochastic members. But for the first time, I'm putting my lineups out there for MLB, for NFL, for NBA. It'll be coming too. So very excited about that. It's been a lot of testing. I'm going to spend next week too testing it even more while I'm on vacation, just to run it a few more days, make sure the consumer tracks are looking good. But I think there's cool stuff coming. I feel like I'm hitting my stride, guys. NFL, you don't know. You see me come in, I yell at somebody, I go away. But I'm hitting my stride. All right. I feel like Mike Evans looks good here. We're loading up a little bit at receiver, but we did get that first anchor RB in, the hero RB, some could call it, with Christian McCaffrey. And now we got an A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, McMillan, Tet McMillan, Mike Evans start. Nice value on Mike Evans, a little bit of value on Tet, a little bit of value on Devontae Smith. These are unique combos. I mean, even just A.J. Brown, I'm not filtering by Christian McCaffrey here in my combinatorial ownership tool. But for me, across, I think it's like 275 underdog drafts I have, post NFL draft, I don't have this combo at all. And that doesn't include McCaffrey. So I'm excited about this build. This is a really good one. I think, hey guys, I built a cool tool. And also I'm still good at best ball. I guess the intro, if you watch the intro and you don't know me, you're like, this guy's pretty good at best ball, huh? But I really feel like BBMDB. I've had some dog shit teams lately because I've been really soaking up the value in rooms, and also as a result, maybe a little bit less listening to the sim structure as much as I should. And really, that's the whole thing. You know, whether it's playing MLB, DFS, whether it's best ball, I think it's gonna be the same thing for NFL. It's all about that structure, getting down what's your most optimal approach to everything. You know, for the structure of how these teams look, like if you miss certain pockets because you're soaking up value, the teams just look a lot worse. Like I started punting tight end a little bit more. That wasn't grading out well in BBMDB, even though you can kind of get there sim-wise. Punting QB doesn't look well. I've drafted a few 0 RB teams. Doesn't seem like BBMDB likes those at all. And I get it because your median projections for those are not very good. But, really feels like you gotta be mindful of like this guy here not getting enough at receiver. This guy here, I think this is a good mix. You got 2 receivers to start, then a bunch of RBs. You just want to kind of go back and forth really to get it balanced in a way. I think every data source, including mine, including BBMDB, including the solver, wants you to build Sidekick. Wants you to build to some extent. All right, we're back on the clock here with our 4 receiver, 1 RB start. I feel like Tyler Warren, a little bit of a discount here because of the fact he is slightly banged up. Drake May, getting him here, I think would be logical. Let's go Drake May, I guess. And again, the good thing is that even though the clock timed out, we did get it in the queue because the draft button here, the pick button rather, on the Best Ball Champion tool, it adds a guy to the queue and then tries to pick him. So that way you're kind of covered if it doesn't get it in time. Really think alone. Oh, that guy took Jalen Hurts. All right, fair enough. But I think really that alone pays for itself if you guys are getting your drafts in last minute here for Best Ball. That pick button has bailed my ass out in a way that I feel like Underdog's UX is maybe not giving you the most grace sometimes. The fact you have to expand the thing and then click the draft button. We're going around the turn here. Should I go to the Big E view here? Let's see. Turn this tab. All right, let's go up here. Why not? I'm also looking at building out, and it depends on the time I have before the season, looking at building out my own version of StreamYard, which I'm pretty excited about. Because what I'm going to try to do is build it out and then have it where I can have it take in stuff like my NFL projections, whatever NFL sim data, and then somehow like display it on screen in a more visually appealing way. I'm trying stuff. I'm really excited. I know this is like a Best Ball streamer is just telling you, hey, you got to take Jaden Daniels. It's also funny how Jaden Daniels, by the way, is now falling in rooms because he sued LSU. Like, he's clearly mad. Apparently what happened with the Jaden situation is that he was told by Brian Kelly that nobody would ever wear the number 5 again for LSU, which, okay, whatever. I know people are going to go like, oh, number 5, a lot of jokes, a lot of memes about Jaden. Showing respect, baseball teams not scoring 5 runs because they want to show respect to Jaden Daniels, the joke. Before Jaden, if you're told one thing and then, the same coach lies to another recruit and says, yeah, you could have number 5. And then also, it does seem weird. I know Joe Burrow won a championship too, but then you have the white guy. They are pseudo retiring his number, even though LSU doesn't retire numbers. It's a bad look. But I think for Jaden Daniels, it was somehow has come out to be the worst look, but it shouldn't make him fall in ADPs. Like Albert Breer had a camp report from the Commanders where it's like Jaden's looking the best he's ever looked. And the team wants to remind people like that, what 2024 happened, he was that guy. He is that guy. They're going to give him more opportunity at the line to make the kind of calls that a lot of the top QBs get to make. And he maybe didn't have that control with Cliff Kingsbury. So I think it's boding very well for Jaden. Obviously, I am a Jaden sycophant here. He is one of the jerseys I have not too far from me. The other guy, we don't talk about anymore. Anthony Richardson, I think, is still fine. He could be fine if he got a job anywhere, but he's stuck in Colts backup hell. Does my sim account for Jaden's emotional state of mind? I mean, it doesn't. It doesn't account for the fact that he's filing lawsuits and then has to put out statements to go, oh no. And then it's also too then I don't know, man. It's a little gross when then the public or at least people on social media are like, oh, his mom, then what? Then you have to blame the woman who, then you have to blame the black woman too for really good. It's all really weird optics, I think, around it. So if that's going to be my coverage. That's me running defense for my boy Jaden. But in reality, I don't know, man. I think no matter what goes on off the field with people trying to protect his likeness, which I think, more and more players are going to be mindful of because they're learning from a young age that you got to protect your name, image, and likeness. And that's the whole thing. I don't know. You get lied to. I get wanting some recompense for that. And he's gotten it. It is probably Stephon Diggs' fault. He's giving him some of the pink crystals and Jaden Daniels is all fired up. He's like fucking one of the guys in that movie, The Program. He's smashing his head on lockers. He's got some of Diggs' special stuff. They call it Diggs' special stuff too. It seems innocent, like in Space Jam, but nope, it's just pink drugs that he gives to Instagram harlots of moderate scale. I don't know. All right, let's read the team out here before we get to our pick. We got a Drake May, Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Brooks start. I'm not like the biggest Brooks believer in the world. I do think, and a lot of teams, it makes more sense to soak up any value you get on Chuba Hubbard. If you get him at pick 100, that's pretty nice. But Brooks, I still think is an interesting prospect. Really was the RB I liked the most when he was coming out that year. So, nice to get him. Sam Laporta banged up. That's not awesome. I do think getting another RB in here with RJ Harvey would be nice. I feel like this room is probably going to let Laporta fall a little. So let's see what Laporta's price tag is. And let's take RJ Harvey, who I feel like is not benefiting from the fact that Jonah Coleman's got some camp hype. Apparently he showed them what they wanted out of him in the preseason, and that was it. And they were like, cool, we're now going to kind of put the bubble wrap on you. He's been mixing in with the first team a lot too. I think you're getting at the very least like if we're harkening back to a Tyler Bidet role, I forget, he has a weird pronunciation of his name. Tyler Bidet role, you're looking at a Jaleel McLaughlin role for this team. Like, I think he's going to carve out that at least. So RJ Harvey to me at pick 90, you worry about that price tag a little bit. Because I think too, he might hold up better in pass pro. Harvey is probably a better pass catcher. But Coleman's rise worries me a little bit for RJ Harvey. We got Drake May, QB, McCaffrey, Brooks, RJ Harvey here. A little bit of a discount on Harvey, but really maybe not enough to take him. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Tet McMillan, Mike Evans. Love the receiver room. I think that receiver room is really steadily built. It's like one of those Jenga boards where you can pull a few things out, and it's like, it's not going to collapse. That's what that receiver room is. Though Mike Evans, certainly, he can collapse. AJ Brown, though, I feel like year one for a team that he rooted for as a kid, like, you're going to get the one good year out of AJ Brown no matter what. Do you get year two? Does the things get toxic in year two? Year two, that's the question. Drake May, I think the reports were that he didn't have an awesome scrimmage and whatever, what do they call it? Inter-squad practice between the Patriots and the Eagles. I think he had like 50% completion rate, had some touchdowns, had, I think, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks was the count I saw on social media. And for Drake May, that's just kind of who he is. If he plays a decent, team like the Eagles defense should be, I think that he probably will play down to it. But we're drafting Drake May, and this is the thing I am adjusting my take from last year. I was so anti-Drake May. He's going to beat up the shitty teams. Like, he's going to beat up the Paper Tigers, and they're going to face enough of them. The schedule's going to get easier, or going to get tougher this year. It's not going to be as easy as last year because they do get that first place schedule. But still, there's still going to be enough teams that end up being shit that we're not foreseeing right now being shit. And I think for Drake May, he will get the results you want in those kind of situations. We got a pick coming up here. Let's switch back to this view. Let's run this sim. Like Jordan Mason at RB would not be crazy. It does still want me to get the tight end with Kyle Pitts. Got a lot of guys who need QB and tight end in between us here. I feel like Brock Purdy would be a nice pick for me. But I will go Kyle Pitts. I'll listen to the sim. Really down the home stretch, would like to get a few more clean teams that the sim thinks are good, and hopes that those then grade out well in BBMDB, and I can go in with a perfectly plus EV portfolio. We got our first tight end here in a 1-3-4-1 build. We got Drake May at our QB spot, one pick before ADP. We got Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Brooks, RJ Harvey here, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Tet McMillan, Mike Evans as our receiver room here. Really like the receiver room, but we spent a lot of capital there. As you can see, 176 points of draft capital. We are in the good spot for receiver right now. Don't need to add a whole lot unless there is a value guy that I really can't avoid. And then tight end Kyle Pitts. Happy to get Kyle Pitts. Feel like people are worried about Atlanta with Tua being maybe not the best looking so far. I mean, he's a good looking guy, but the best looking so far in the preseason. You still have Penix as a backdoor there, and I believe in the coaching. Like, Stefanski has gotten more out of less than he has with Tua and Penix. I feel really strongly about that. So if people are going to be afraid to buy in on Atlanta, I think it's going to be fine. That's my hope. That's my hope. And the OC there is Tommy Reese, right? I feel like he's a guy too that last year for Cleveland, I feel like he did a lot to create offense out of a team that also didn't have a ton of talent. Obviously the same thing you'd give Stefanski credit for, but I don't know. I think for Kyle Pitts, Drake London, I'm really not worried about those guys. I think they're going to be in good spots. Bijan too, obviously, but he's going number 2 overall. I guess the market doesn't really have a lot of concerns there either. All right, we got a pick coming up here. Yeah, we could use that second QB for sure, but we don't need to do it yet necessarily. Kyle Monangai, apparently going to be good soon enough. I'm kind of happy to scoop the dip on him if it aligns. Would have really loved to have gotten Brock Purdy on the way back. I think that would have made me feel Would have made me feel Purdy, is what it would have. But I just love getting a Drake May, Brock Purdy team. I feel like that aligns pretty well with 2 QB build. You don't have to add the third on. But here it is trying to get me to take a QB. Wants me to go unstack Jared Goff because, again, at a certain point, you just have to get the QB points in. We don't really have any other opportunities coming up for QB. So I'm going to go Jared Goff here. I know that's like a thing that people are still very uncomfortable with because after getting browbeaten about stacks for years now, stuff like my sim, people will go on stream and go, stacks don't matter as much as you think. But in reality, stacks are now so inappropriately to the point where you've had ownership data from Underdog. You've had ownership data from DraftKings that came out previously during part of the draft season. And you see guys like JJ McCarthy stacked up 70% with Justin Jefferson. At a certain point, you're overstacking. So just getting the QB points in whenever the opportunity needs to be that pocket where you have to grab a QB, just to get the projection to have a chance of being where it needs to go. You just got to do it. So it doesn't matter about the stacking. We just want to get points in. And last year, points to Sam Sherman's team that won BBM. It's a team where Brock Purdy rushing for touchdowns created the value there. He had him stacked up with, I believe, Kittle, who was out at that point, and to get another receiver on there who wasn't good or not playing. So at that point, it just ends up being like, okay, you're just making a bet on this offense's QB being good. Frankly, down that home stretch too, you had Trevor Lawrence and Brock Purdy showing you don't need the stack. You just need the QB who puts up the outlier day. Or, in Purdy's case, really wasn't even the outlier day like it was for Trevor Lawrence and that when he put up that 45-point game, it was more like, a pretty good Brock Purdy game where you maybe could have had somebody else if things aligned. Purdy gave you good enough. In best ball, you just need to have it good enough. That's why you need to be as precious about stuff. Certainly, I've been in the past, too. I'm a precious boy. I always tell myself that. I look myself in the mirror every morning and I go, you're the most precious boy you know, Chris. That's what I say. I think this Manungai value at this point, pick 127 is too good. People are overreacting. I know it's a knee injury, but we are talking about it being still 20 days before the regular season, and all reports seem to be that Manungai's going to be fine early enough in the year. If it's an ACL tear, the guy's out of my sim pool. Look, here's Jaden Higgins, guys. My sim actually marks him out. You don't get him in the sim. Make sure if you are drafting an underdog that you are personally not taking Higgins, because if you time out, they will still give him to you in the drafts. I don't know why they haven't taken him out yet. Basically for how it looks right now, I think getting Manungai so late when he was going in the 70s at one point, and he still represents a very great share of an offense that, should score a lot of rushing touchdowns. I don't know. I think Manungai, happy to get that big value there. Really happy to get that. Happy to max out any of the pit bulls? No. I stopped trying to do any sidecar tournaments when I realized I was so behind on BBM, because I had a goal this year, and I mentioned it on stream, of trying to max BBM into DK Millie, but DK Millie is like the clock taking so long, kind of ruined any like momentum I could build up with that. So I'm probably gonna get like 25 entries in that. I just don't have the time really, but also like I don't enjoy 30-second clocks, 20 rounds, people milking the shit out of the clock. And then taking fucking the worst players for a couple rounds at the end as well. But yeah, I'm going to max BBM, and that's it. If I like somehow pull ahead in BBM too much, and I guess I have some entries to save, maybe I'll look at some other tournaments, but I don't know. To me, just maxing BBM was like, I was so far behind. I had like, I don't know, I had 125 entries to go a couple weeks ago, and I've clawed that back. So that to me was like, you got to focus on what you actually want to max. All right, we got a little bit of value on Keaton Mitchell if I want to add some more RB piggery here. Really nothing, a receiver coming up. Sim wants me to go Chig Okonkwo. I do think Chig has looked good in camp. I really like getting Keaton Mitchell here and just kind of closing off the RB room. Keaton Mitchell, one of my favorite picks this year. You can see I have 14.5%. We got him queued. I think we can make it up enough at tight end later on. I'd rather get Keaton Mitchell be done at RB. Because I really don't have the most confidence in RJ Harvey. And let's say I'm wrong. I also didn't show you guys the right screen. Let's say that I'm wrong about Manungai. He's out for longer. To me, Keaton Mitchell's going to be one of those guys all year is going to have the ability to give you a 15 half-point PPR day where he just gets a touchdown, breaks a long play, has a little bit on top of that. Especially now they might use him in the pass game. Like that's such a big change for Keaton Mitchell. He's priced appropriately. Like I don't think he should be more expensive. But if you get him at pick 140, I really find it hard to not click Keaton Mitchell there. So our team so far, we're all sharing it together, but not the winnings, just the emotional EV. You get Drake May and Jared Goff at QB with, and could still technically take a little bit more QB here. Seems like we're slightly short on draft capital there. Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Brooks, RJ Harvey, Manungai, Keaton Mitchell. Like the top two a lot. Like I mentioned, RJ Harvey just not one of my guys, really, and I worry about the Jonah Coleman of it all. Worry about Dobbins getting paid again. Like him getting out of the way would have been really helpful. But getting Keaton Mitchell here, I think, makes this team. I can live with Harvey and Manungai, whatever failings they have for injury or lack of a role. Receiver, we spent a lot of capital early. 4 guys, basically top 50 ADPs. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Tet McMillan, Mike Evans. Kind of an old school receiver room here for splash play. And tight end Kyle Pitts. And I think the team works. I'll certainly add it to BBMDB if we get it graded on time. I feel like the Sims on BBMDB been a little bit slow lately, slash backed up. But I'll try to grade it out here on stream so you can see how this team looks. I think it should grade out well, though. I like the team. All right, but let's see what we get. And Jade Higgins hanging around. Really hope somebody times out on him. Somebody that's not me, ideally. Sim would love me to get tight end here, which I would agree with. We do have to add more at receiver, though. And there you go. Hunter Henry goes, so that sucks. Brenton Strange, though, it's pushing me towards, and I can live with that. Brenton Strange, come on down. Not enough at tight end yet, I don't think, with Pitts and Strange. You can use one more tight end here. But I think that'll be okay. I think once you make peace with the fact that, like, these 4 receivers is where we took the draft capital for them, they have to hit. They have to carry this team. So it doesn't matter that we only have 4 receivers now because we spent such a big allotment of draft capital there. If these guys don't hit, the room's fucked anyway. I'm curious how my MLB stuff is doing. Like MLB, I was saying in the Discord yesterday, like my least favorite sweat is MLB right now. Because basically, like, you know, you could have a team that's in position to win at the end. And then it's not like NBA where it's like they're on the court. There's a chance for, you know, a play to break their way, whether it's a rebound, whether it's really getting going with usage and assists and stuff. In MLB, it's just like the guys get at bats and they might just do nothing. And it's like, it might not even be close. Like I had Bryce Sarang and Zach Neto yesterday in an MLB DFS tournament where it was rally cap for people who play MLB DFS, and it was 20K up top, and I was top 10. And I'm like, cool, if these guys give me anything good here, like if they both give me something great, if one of them just gives me like a home run, I'm in first place. And they just did nothing. Just fucking both limply went down. I'm like, fuck, man. And NFL too, I feel like at least you got a shot. Like there's plays, the guys are out there. For MLB, it's like you literally have an at bat, and there's a chance the guy just does nothing because, you know, fucking 3/4 of the time he's going to do nothing. The 3 pit bulls last night before it closed. Higgins went in every draft. That's tough. I mean, you got to pay attention so you don't time out on it. But yeah, I mean, the sites protected you pretty well from Pearsall. They did that fast. Jade Higgins, for some reason, it's been a whole day and he's still there. But, you know, like I did my part here. You could see the best ball champion shows him is out. He doesn't pop up in the sim. So I figured out a process. All right, we need a receiver. I'm going to go Jacoby Lane. I feel like I've got enough Omar Cooper at this point. He is a big-time faller. Jacoby Lane, you could see the rising ADP here. I think we want to get exposure there, so let's go pick button here. Jacoby Lane, probably one of the biggest ADP rises. He was holding flat all the way through here at 215, then boom, 196. Now he's all the way up to 167.4. So that's a big jump up for Jacoby Lane. I like him, USC guy. But really, to me, I mean, Mekhi Lemon out of the two is the better player. Jacoby Lane, more size, which is going to be, where the Michael Thomas comps are really pretty good. But, for Lane, I think at this point, I don't think he's going to be Puka. He's not going to be Puka Nacua. I mean, I feel pretty confident saying that. I just don't think he has his underlying numbers. Like Puka was a guy, I believe it was BYU was his last year. High target per route run, wasn't playing a lot of snaps, but when he was out there, they're basically force feeding the ball, crazy EPA efficiency. Lane is good and he's big. But I think he's this is probably not fair. I think he's like big. He's fancy Ted Hurst. Like, I think he's just a big outside receiver, who's probably a little bit buried behind, honestly, Bateman. They're paying Bateman again and talking him up enough. And Zay Flowers, like a lot of Lane's best days have come with Zay Flowers not being on the field. I think that matters a lot. But, I like Lane. I don't want to poo-poo a USC guy. But I do think, him or Lemon, obviously they're priced differently. Like Lemon is a legit potential monster who I've said on stream, and it's a hot take. Like I think he could be better than Devontae Smith if he's out there. And we might have seen Devontae Smith's ceiling. Like I don't think we've seen Mekhi Lemon's ceiling because he hasn't played yet. Caleb Douglas all the way up to pick 15 here. Do you think his target earning in college? We looked it up a little bit more with his rise up the Miami depth chart. 22% target per out run in college. I just don't see how you become a better player in the NFL with that. The guy I watch out for, who got off the non-football injury list, even though it's a football injury, but it was from college, Chris Bell got off the NFI, and he is a monster target earner. Probably not going to be ready early, and Douglas has earned the role throughout camp. But to me, it's kind of like the Isaiah Williams versus Omar Cooper for the Jets stuff, where it's like these guys are going to they're going to rise a little bit just because of the fact that they have good draft capital behind them, or are sort of more talented in Chris Bell's case. I think Chris Bell's very good, and he's a really good target earner in college, playing legit competition, and that still matters more than anything else that I've seen. We got a lot of receivers here, or a lot of RBs here. Receivers pretty dire at this point. I'm going to go Dalton Schultz. I feel like he's a little more valuable than Oronde Gadsden at this point. My data loves Oronde Gadsden, and we have a little bit of a stack bonus and some playoff week correlation. But Dalton Schultz at this point, I mean, not having a second receiver out there like Higgins out there, I think for Schultz, that's just more opportunity for him. And frankly, this offense, I feel like his role was a lot better last year than it's been previously. Let's give the team a read, though. It is a 2-5-5-3 here. Again, spent a lot of receiver capital early, so we've now shored up the other positions pretty aggressively after that. We got Drake May and Jared Goff with Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Brooks, RJ Harvey leading the RB room. Kyle Monungai, big 23-pick discount on him. People worried about that knee injury. I think you just absorb that one. He'll be fine. Let's say he hits the pup list. He's out for a month. Great. You got a 30-pick discount on a guy who's still going to be very viable week 5 on. He's not going to lose the role. They really anointed him pretty meaningfully with his role last year. Keaton Mitchell rounds out the RB room. Again, another value here. Just soaking up value is always a move if you're comfortable with it, with guys being a little banged up. Receiver, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Ted McMillan, Mike Evans, 4 guys in the top 50 picks of ADP. So I think we feel good about that receiver room, not going to it for a while. Then Jacoby Lane, big upside late pick here. Obviously a little more expensive than he would have been if we were early to the curve, but we are not. And then tight end, Kyle Pitts, Brenton Strange, Dalton Schultz here, 3 tight end room. I can see the sim recommending one more here. I think we have the room to do it. Our RB room is good, done. Receiver room, we want to add at least one more on, if not 2. But frankly, Greg Dulcich might be more valuable to the team at this point than Tesla or Jerry Jeudy. Devon Valley should be more valuable, but he's also hurt, which sucks. Took too long to get to the big board view here, guys, but we are going to do a DK draft up next. Then probably, definitely one more Underdog Best Ball Mania draft, but maybe more. We'll see, because it's going to be my last draft here in August. We'll have a few more coming up in September, but I'm on vacation next week, so let's get it in good here, guys. And I'll be doing some drafts on vacation next week. Next week's going to be a real litmus test for how much I get in on DraftKings, because if I make strides on Underdog and I'm in range, I want to dial that back, and then maybe can do some over on DK, but we'll see. All right, Isaac Tesla. People off of Tesla in a pretty big way. There's also a massive discount on Zach Charbonnet. I don't need that 6th RB, but he's free, and I do have some questions about my RB room. And we have some Week 17 correlation with McMillan as well, so I'm going to take Charbonnet here. Again, I don't really think we needed that 6th RB, but free Charbonnet. It's not something I'm screaming out at a courtroom, but I do think it's something for Charbonnet. I am happy to get him still. Fact, honestly, is that his ACL, I know he's not full go yet. But I think his recovery is faster along than I thought it would be. I don't know. He's a guy they trust. There we go. Let's go back to the big board view here. Got one more pick left coming up. Actually, no, 2 more picks coming up. Sorry. Just getting to the wrong part of the board. A shout out Tim, giving a quick shout out to all the juggalos and juggalettes. Thank you, Tim. Yes, spread your Fago around. Put on your Juggalo Championship Wrestling. These are all the things I know. These are the 2 I know about juggalos. But I know they have gatherings. I know that. What do you call a group of juggalos? A gathering. That's their name in the phylum. Really busting out all my science knowledge. All right, MLB, nothing breaking out yet. Isaac Tesla, he's not breaking out yet. Kalen Black, by the way, apparently taking all the RB1 reps for the Niners. Just went in this draft. Just going to say that out loud because that does seem noteworthy. And we're on the clock here. I think it's Tesla time. To slaw it up. To slop it up? I don't know. But yeah, I think he's a good wide receiver 6 here. People overreacting a little bit. People love Greg Dortch. Apparently, he has been getting some meaningful reps, with the Lions so far in this offense. Drew Petzing, the new OC for the Lions, clearly has some, favorability to him from their Cardinals time. But I think for Tesla, the biggest thing is that he is a good blocker. It's part of why, too, people really freaked out about Juwan Jennings after he was a little bit down the depth chart in the preseason stuff. But I think for, how it looks for these guys, like the fact that Tesla is a good run blocker, Juwan Jennings is a good run blocker, and you have teams that are going to still want to run. The NFL is still a league where most of the teams want to run more than ever in recent years. You're going to get the guys who block well as an outside receiver out there enough, and Tesla can make his stupid fucking way too contested catches that he makes way harder than he has to. I think he's still a good click. Around 17, around 18, I would still be happy to take him over, a lot of other free guys. It is not Nicholas Jamal Chubb time. I don't think he's going to sign with the team this year. I mean, maybe later on in the year. Team that's a little bit low on bodies. Because he's not on the Texans anymore, is he? No, he's a free agent. Yeah, Nick Chubb, I don't think showed enough last year on Fillmore in the data to get a job, but I hope so. I mean, that's true of anybody late if they get you a couple 15, 20-point games as W. But to me, it's also just like, it's not like the days of the Eagles receiver 3 where it's like, this role is dog shit. Like he's a guy that's still going to be out there. It's an offense that's going to score points. So I'm cool getting that as just leverage against the other guys. Is James Conner the new Keenan Allen? I mean, no, because he's on a team and he's not able to do anything yet or move up the depth chart yet. He has the potential, especially in Detroit where they spread the ball around. Yeah, I agree. That's it. It's just leverage against guys that could honestly be great this year. Like, I think it might be a really good year for Amon-Ra. I think it might be a really good year for Jameson Williams and Laporta more so. I think where they're going, like there's some meat on the bone. I think for Tesla, when you have those guys potentially having good years, that sort of makes it more valuable if they do. Or we have a 2-6-6-3 build here. One more pick left. I'm always happy to take Butte late here. Chris Bell, who I talked about, the fact that he's back in the mix, pretty appealing. Torrey Horton's the one coming up for week 17 correlation. Jeremy Bernard, not one of my guys. I'm happy to kind of be done there. But I am going to go Kayshon Boutte here. I feel like he has a lot of good outcomes for New England if he does stay there. Has good outcomes if he goes somewhere else where he'll be like an Alec Pierce type. And clearly the league still values that role with what Alec Pierce got paid. I think Boutte, to me, really an ideal kind of 18th round pick. So the final team here before we head over to DraftKings, we got Drake May and Jared Goff. A little bit short on QB capital, but I didn't feel like I had to force in the QB3. None of them came up in the sim, so we didn't do it. We got Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Brooks starting off the RB room with RJ Harvey, Manungai, Keaton Mitchell, and Zach Charbonnet. Really big values for the last 3 RBs here, which I think to me is a nice way to build when you have McCaffrey, the luxury of McCaffrey, and hopefully Jonathan Brooks, one of the good outcomes here for him. Receiver, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Tet McMillan, Mike Evans. Some stacking for all these guys, either with the QB or with a teammate. Jacoby Lane, took him at pick 162, which I think is a fair price tag for him. Isaac Tesla, Kayshon Boutte, decent value on these guys late. And then tight end, Kyle Pitts, Bretton Strange, Dalton Schultz. Really think this could have been a 4 tight end room because really that breaks more that way more than you would think in my data. But we needed the more receiver, took the 1 extra RB with Charbonnet. That made it not be a thing where we got a 4th tight end. All right, I'm going to try to grade this team out in BBMDB, but let's go over to DraftKings next. And let us enter. Wait, no, we want to go over here. Lobby. There we go. All right. NFL. Best Ball Millionaire. Who wants to be a Best Ball Millionaire? That's my Regis Philbin impression. Really been working hard on it. Yeah, I'll give myself a DFS. I'm putting up my 25% DFS winnings boost token, guys. So I might win $5 extra in this best ball tournament against you. But we are live here. $3 million up top on DraftKings. It is a 20-round draft. Got 8 spots in here. So if you want to draft me today, today's your day. And of course, guys, big plug for my Best Ball Champion tool. It is available for you guys right now at splashplaypodcast.com/join or bestballchampion.com. Both of them will get you where you need to go in terms of getting access to the product. But basically, it's a tool I'm incredibly proud of. The fact it's gotten the results it has in that BBMDB testing so far, I think is incredibly awesome and something that brings me a lot of pride. but also sharp guys in the community who've done very well in best ball. Guys who've had success in DFS as well, pointed to the product and gone, this actually works incredibly well. It does a good job, which is really all I could have ever asked for. The fact that it's testing well and other things that are third parties I have nothing to do with, like BBMDB, who probably knows more about Best Ball Mania and how that structure looks more than anybody. I think it's a really good tool. So get in the mix right now. It is under $40 for VIP. Price is going up next week because I am raising the price tags and everything heading into NFL season to make it worth my time. Also going to be adding another tier, but it doesn't affect you for the Best Ball Champion. You got the best version of that product as it is. But check it out right now, splashplaypodcast.com/join. And, support the show. Go over there right now. The draft filled, by the way, if you are trying to get in. So I see our guy Nolan's up top. We got a guy Chunk in here. We'll go to that in a moment. And a quick shout out to our guys over at Splash Sports too. Normally they're sponsoring the Splash Play Bets channel where I'm doing MLB content daily right now. But I really want to quickly plug for you guys their Survivor contest. Use promo code SplashPlay over there. You get a 50% deposit bonus, which you can use for quick picks, their pick'em format, or for that Survivor thing. But it's $21 million. They're competing with Circa in their Survivor tournament. And look, Survivor can be a hard game. We'll talk more about it, I think, when we get to the season. Maybe I'll try to do little segments about that every week to give you guys some Survivor thoughts. But really, for how it looks, the fact it's $21 million, I think it's worth a shot over at Splash Sports. That tournament might also have some overlay, it looks like. Check it out, the promo code SplashPlay over at Splash Sports. It is the promo code SplashPlay over at Splash Sports. I never plugged this one on the NFL channel. But, today we got to. Don't mind if you steal $3 million, as long as you give me half of it for the VIG of providing you a mechanism to do so. I think that's only fair. If you one of you guys out there, when you win a tournament with a streamer, you owe them half the money. I think that's because they created the way that you won. How is that not fair? I think that's the question we all have to ask ourselves. All right. Let me also update Best Ball Champion. BBMDB, unfortunately, not simming this team in time. Stinks. Fucking DK, man. Even though, the draft start time, the fact that it's 2 minutes, why? Why does that have to be 2 minutes? Give me fucking 1 minute. And we get going. DK is just a dilly-dallier. I said to Luca, he's, my 4-year-old. It takes too much time to get ready. I feel like it's every kid. It's really, stop dilly-dallying, DraftKings. Can we get to the draft? Can we do the thing, guys? Please. All right. We're going here. Pick 4. Best Ball Champion. Ready to go here. I never know where to put it on a DraftKings screen. Let's try to put it here. All right. Puka-Bowers hanging around. He is my pick. And there we go. A Puka-Bowers team to start us off. Go to this draft board view here. Also updating my exposures for Underdog for when we go back there, because I think it's important to update your exposures every draft at this point so you know what your combos are and all that. All right. Run it. Come on. Let me see that you run it. Run it. All right, there we go. That is running. This draft is flying. Yeah. Woohoo. We're a whole 8 picks in. You're killing it. But yes, you can buy me a bucket of nude eggs whenever you please. Shout out to all you guys watching live. I don't think I've asked it all, which I should, because these NFL videos, I need the love. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe. Goes a long way for any content you enjoy on YouTube, but especially me, just one guy doing the work as best I can here. Obviously, I've been a neglectful parent here on the NFL channel this year. I've not done enough streams, but it's also just the financial equation of things where I make more doing MLB streams every day, getting that data out there. But NFL, look, I think it's going to be a really fun basketball year. I think it's going to be a really good DFS year on the channel based on what I've learned from MLB, what I can apply now to build out a really sick NFL product. In fact, actually looking about making my own StreamYard replacement where I can use that instead and build stuff in a more visually appealing way, show you guys data from the site that actually appears on stream. Obviously, I do that with the screen share, but I'm curious if I could do it. So I'm trying to make stuff better is really the key thing for the NFL DFS season, the product on the site. It's going to be the first time we have an actual product on the website as opposed to just a Excel sheet. So I think it's going to be really cool this year. So join along for the ride here. Like button, subscribe. You'll get what I'm doing for free on stream. At the very least this year, it'll still be, Monday and Thursday showdown videos. Friday, main slate video. Don't know what I'm doing this year besides that. But we're going to find out. Oh, I love that. Shout out. Was that Chunk who clicked really fast there? Shout Chunk for a 10-second click. We love to see it. I probably did not have to scrape the entire history on Underdog in parallel here, but that's my bad. Got a bunch of guys, 2 RBs around this turn. Anybody who takes that third RB, probably just giving up money in this draft. Because you're not going to make up your wide receiver capital very easily if you don't take one in the first 3 rounds. If you take 2 RBs in your first 2. Hopefully that's not a complicated way to explain that, but really got to get a receiver in the first 3 rounds is really the key thing there. All right, so we're on the clock here. Got Brock-Bowers, and I feel like I have the Puka-Brock combo pretty frequently. Maybe more on Underdog than DraftKings. Yeah, I'm going to go Brock. I mean, I would love to get an RB in here, but I think a Puka-Brock start's pretty fun. Just 2 absolute PPR target per route run demons potentially. And for Bowers, to me, I mean, if you're taking him top 20 on Underdog or DraftKings, the bet you're making for Brock-Bowers is that he's going to be JSN in this offense. And frankly, you know, whether it's Cousins running it, start the year, I think Mendoza's going to get out there at some point, really feels like an offense that's going to run well. I don't know. I was impressed by the preseason game where you're not getting, you know, really the star players out there by any stretch. Like all the offense ran well. All the practice reports are like, they're in the red zone. They're throwing touchdowns left and right. And maybe the defense for the Raiders just sucks too. But I think, you know, Clint Kubiak's one of those guys I've been impressed by as a, you know, offensive guy on the rise. And, you know, every stop going back to the Saints, you know, obviously last year winning the Super Bowl. Those guys, when they implement their own program, and especially the dad being a coach too, you know, not that I'm team Nepo baby or anything, but like he knows how to run an organization too, which I think is a positive. Let's see what we get on the way back. I feel like we might get pigeonholed and doing receiver again. Jeremy Levine from Underdog here, apparently spending his acquisition money from Underdog. They got rid of the Gladiator program, so now he could spend his money on DraftKings instead. He's drafted a Best Ball Millie Maker team. Does he need it after selling Underdog? Probably not. All right, Nico Collins is the sim wreck. I feel like Kyron Williams, I mean, we got to get to RB at some point, but we really didn't get enough in at receiver yet either. So I will go Nico. I feel like we've probably got a lot out there of Puka, Kyron Williams. Maybe a little bit less of Puka, Brock-Bowers, and Nico. I think that combo feels kind of fresh. So that's what we're doing to start here. Call me a non-RB piggy. I'm back to the old days where RB, I don't respect it. This guy too is actually both guys next to me. We got JM Levine and Every Lean here. We're all just going fuck RBs. And meanwhile, these guys over here, they can't imagine their life without it. Huh, you losers. What do you like drafting running backs? Oh my God. We're this is back. It's like bullying people if you do it in high school. Like we're going back to that. That's what it feels like to make fun of people for drafting running backs early. But anyway, this team, 0 RB beauty through 3 rounds. I mean, Nico, to get him later than his usual ADP, I think feels pretty good because there's no world where he's not more valuable with you know, having Higgins gone. Like Nico Collins, you know, I think my Claude summary for the day, which works, by the way, now that I could say it, works really well for reporting as opposed to other stuff I have recently promoted. In case you guys want to put together like daily best ball reports, I do it. Claude can schedule it. Works really well. Hits every day, which is a really important part of the process. I think for, you know, Nico Collins, like, why would you not assume that he's on the rise in a big way? Like, I don't get why his ADP would possibly get worse by losing Higgins. And I really think for Nico too, just the fact that like a lot of receivers around him got paid and he got, you know, an increase in money at one point, but has not gotten, you know, top money. I don't think they want to give it to him. So I think getting leverage for him is probably a positive for that offense. You're running better. So sick of Gibbs, Pickens, Nico, cries. Yes, that's the the Woody Harrelson wiping your face with the money. Gibbs, Pickens, and Nico is a fun combo to start. I try to mix it up though. I have gotten some Rashee Rice with that. Olave I've mixed in. I think that's where honestly the combinatorial ownership is really important. For me, I click that tool all the time where it's like, what do I not have so far? Because I agree, because you got to take receiver pretty hard after you take Gibbs, and you know, hard and heavy, as I like to say on the channel, even though it should be hot and heavy. Yeah, I think too the Bijan Drake London one. I feel like I always get that combo on DraftKings. You know, whenever I am doing a DK draft. which is less I'm doing an underdog draft for sure. Curious this team, if this BBMDB will grade my team while we're on stream here. You can see it's just leaving a couple in the queue here. Let's check out the sick S tier team. I can't wait to go to a bank with my BBMDB. Go like, hey, can I take out a loan, guys? Yeah, I know normally you do home equity line of credits. Can you do best ball, BB locks? They're gonna think I'm trying to get like a Brazilian butt lift. I think I've earned it. I think I've earned a loan based off my BBMDB expected value. We're on the clock coming up next. David Montgomery. Scattaboo does feel like the market's moving against him a little bit. Tyrone Tracy, I don't know if he's earning anything, but Najee Harris being in the mix, not a great thing for hoping for endless trust for these guys. Josh Jacobs at the Q tag, I'd be happy to take here too. But it's telling me Montgomery for the stack. I'm going to listen to the sim. I'm curious too. I mean, we got our guy Nolan here. OMG, look at me. He won't have an issue taking Josh Jacobs. Oh, okay. He goes anyway. But like, you know, normally on DraftKings, if you could push a guy with a Q tag, just take the shot. Because the room will sometimes go like, oh no, he's questionable. Again, 20 fucking days before the season. And I know you don't have to take guys just because they're falling. But you know, if you like them and you think there's a reason to take them, or you know, Sim's telling you to take them, be mindful of the fact that like, you know, you can still take them, even though they have a Q tag on them. Does not mean that they're literally, you know, toxic to take, but people act like it. Unless it's Parker Washington, they'll probably go like, oh, no, ignore that Q tag. He's fine. They love P-Dub. I know that anybody calls Parker Washington P-Dub, but they should. Now we got 2 picks before I go here. While we're waiting, guys, if you can, please hit that like button. Please subscribe. And showing up doing the work here today. No sponsor, just me doing the work, as always. Though I did plug Splash Sports, but they're not sponsoring the challenge. That was more like just to be nice to them. Because I'm renegotiating with them. But yeah, really appreciate you guys being here live. As, of course, all you guys watch after the fact as well. Going to give you my best and brightest effort today because this is my last draft of August on stream. So, you know, let's all cherish it. But hit the like button, subscribe. It does go a long way for this NFL channel. I need to get bumping before NFL DFS season, where that's where the big money is going to be made this year. The best ball, I think, is going to be the best ball year yet. Give me 1 BBM finalist and an all-around profitable year with some sick advance rates, and I will be a happy boy. We got Bashal Tootin up top here. The worm has turned against him. Really, the sim is saying go receiver, but I'm going to go Bashal here. Think that he is still a nice pick here. It's so funny. Like, I feel like a Montgomery Tootin start. I mean, this is round 4, round 5. This feels like a 0 RB team. Like, in terms of how just what it feels like in 2026. We got Puka-Bowers, Nico Collins, Brock Bowers, Montgomery, and Tootin. I saw the interview with Tootin. Who somebody did. It was Kevin Clark. Somebody did it on social media. That I saw on social media, rather. I feel like Tootin really looks the part of like an alpha RB. But I really do think it's going to be one of those things where, you know, Chris Rodriguez taking work away in practice doesn't surprise me. I think he's going to be the goal line back. But Tootin's got juice. Like, he misses tackles at a good rate. I don't think he's as explosive as like people talk themselves into year 1. Now they're riding that again this year. But the opportunity is big for him. So like, Tootin to me, if he comes down and gets cheaper at any point, happy to absorb that value. For David Montgomery, I just think there's more pass game work now without you having Jaden Higgins out there. And that helps out everybody a little bit. But Montgomery, I liked anyway. Like, I think he's got a good role. If his offense is good, like, he'll be good. Woody Marks probably takes some third down work. That's fine. No, nothing hurt my portfolio. I mean, I've had a really flat portfolio, but you know, what would hurt me is Jaden, not Higgins. Big Jaden, big number 5 getting hurt would be a tough one. Shout out Joel here. Joel. I know he's probably Joel. I don't know why I went to go Joel, but Joel Embiid's now top of mind. No, I'm late. Want to say you did a good job on Toxic Tower. Reaction when they want another RB after going 2 RBs in the first 2 rounds is funny. Yeah, they were not drafting plus CV, and Emo Cowboy knows because this portfolio looks great. But you know, the other guys, I think best ball guy, like him as a content creator, he's a baseline drafter. We saw it on his BBMDB on that stream. And honestly, like, I do think in best ball, you know, I really do encourage all you guys out there, and it's not the gospel for everything. I know some people look at their BBMDB profile, you know, which will scrape all your drafts, Underdog and DraftKings, tell you what it thinks your portfolio is worth, and, you know, relative to a baseline with the VIG taken off, the rake taken off. I do think you all owe yourselves a look at that for honesty. And, like for me, obviously, I'm happy that it looks good. If it looked bad, though, I would really question like what's wrong. That's been what's worked for well with me for MLB is like every day I'm reviewing the entire results along with the field, what they're doing. And then it gives me, obviously having AI agents help me out that to process all the data because me and a money hat aren't going to do it. But having that process built in where it's like I do something, I look at the data, I see how well it grades out. I look at the results and they're available. For best ball, we're not going to get the results for another fucking 5 months. So you got to get your checkpoint somewhere. And I do think if you're, if you're those guys, and if you're a best ball guy and you're putting in, just use it as an example, sorry, not to beat up on him. But if you're a best ball guy and you look at your portfolio and you're like, I'm dead average, it's like, what am I doing to not make these teams pop a little bit more? But dead average could still be fine. Like if BBMDB grades you as like a league, 16.7% advance rate guy, and all you do is draft your terms to that rate, you're still probably better than a good portion of people who think they're drafting well. And like, if they were to look, they would go, oh shit, like I am hemorrhaging expected value. It's not everything, but I'd be worried if I'm putting in thousands of dollars. Like, I don't know. The rule I have for my AI agents, because like they have a tendency in general to like not want to do work, which shout out to them, get more and more human by the day. But the thing is like, it's a get it in good rule where every day, as long as you can prove it by data, I want to make changes that make the product better. It doesn't matter if it's like, if I've had good results for MLB, I want it to get better every day. I want the portfolio to look incrementally better. Same thing for best ball. Like you want it to look, use the resources you have. Like I really think this could be a year where the sidekick users, I think can have a really good year potentially. Depends on, how some of that stuff looks. But I think really, they might just, RTAs might really, real-time assistants might have a really, really big year this year because I think they're all a lot better. And I say that as somebody who's made one, obviously. We got Montgomery, Tootin, Puka-Nacua, Nico Collins, Brock Bowers, Sim recommending Jaden Daniels here. Joe Burrow's hanging around after ADP, but we have no correlation. I'm going to go with my boy Jaden here. I still like Joe Burrow. Happy to take an uncorrelated QB like I've talked about. But I'm team Jaden. The fact that we're getting any discount, his ADP was on the rise, and then he fucking files a lawsuit. Now he's a worse fantasy pick? I don't think so. Jaden Daniels. David Blau, your next boy genius. I think that's a possibility. Ooh, this guy took Lamar and Joe Burrow. Don't love that for him. Sorry. Our guy Nolan here is playing in the 1 hole, saying deaths of the 3 hole. Yeah, I felt like he was building a decent team, but that's maybe not the way I would have gone personally. Let's see. We're due for an MLB update. All right. Nothing breaking out yet. Top 140 in the mini max. Ooh, top 10 in the solo shot with a lot of time left. Nothing in the flagship. I want a 50K win so bad, guys. Really, I just wanted that MLB. I guess not 50K today up top, but like 25K win. I want the flagship MLB win. That's what I really... To do it on 5 bullets like I've done in NBA and NFL is my dream for the year. But any first place at this point I would take. I've been knocking in fucking MLB for weeks. Top 10s. Had number 2 the other day. It's driving me crazy. DK Metcalf coming up here, but Michael Wilson, the better ADP guy. I'm going to go Michael Wilson. I don't think DK Metcalf is such a great pick here. I'm even on exposures on these guys. I'll go Michael Wilson. All right, so teams so far. Honestly, would have loved to have gotten an RB here, but really nobody that makes sense. And I'm not going to go reaching for RJ Harvey. After I just said last time I'm not into him and I just took him. But we got Jaden Daniels, David Montgomery, Bashal Tootin with Puka-Nacua, Nico Collins, Michael Wilson, Brock Bowers. Really lacking in RB capital right now. I got to hit it pretty hard in the next couple rounds. But tight end with Brock, we are good. Receiver now with our really expensive 3 receivers. We got to dial off that a little bit. So we'll try to get back on track here with the Best Ball Champion Sim guiding the way on DraftKings. I honestly think the Best Ball Champion Sim, based on what I've seen, might even be better on DraftKings than Underdog, but obviously they're both good. I think the JD dumbass HR stunt definitely helps those who draft him. I mean, he's going to come out with more of a chip on his shoulder. But I really thought, like, there's an Albert Breer thing I mentioned earlier that's on MMQB, which really sucks that Sports Illustrated is like such a nothing property anymore. And he's like a guy who actually does good work, just festering away on that. But he's getting paid, so I guess more power to him. But Albert Breer put out a Commander's Camp report, talked about how Jaden looks so good. Apparently, Diggs also has been a good influence for the locker room there in terms of like taking a leadership role, making the offense work even better. But I really think now, losing Tunsil's not awesome. Losing a left tackle, never great for a QB. If you're going to lose it, it's a mobile QB, who could step up. But having more play calling jurisdiction, I think, is great for him because he wants to get the ball downfield. We saw it in LSU and in Kingsbury, kind of put the governor on him in a major way. But he's so accurate. It's like you want to take the shots. Not like Anthony Richardson, who I think you want to take the shots anyway, because that's just what football is. You want to embrace that variance that can come. Like a mid-major jacking up threes when they're playing somebody who's a lot better in the NCAA tournament. That's what you want, I think, your QB to be generally, to some extent, as long as they're not killing you over and over again. But Jaden's not going to do that. Like, he's going to make the right throw. He's going to make the right plays. And now he's got McLaurin being a great downfield weapon, who they've already talked about. Blau has talked about wanting to scheme 10 targets a game for. You have Diggs, who I really thought was dead going to New England. I was surprised they paid him that much. He earned that contract, and then they fucked him and cut him because they were getting A.J. Brown, and knew that well before, they should have contractually. But I think for that offense, I just think it bodes well. Chig looking good, making some big plays in camp. There's been some highlights of him. But I think really just him being able to do some yak stuff, him being open down the seams with these guys taking attention away. The RBs, question mark, I think. But Rachaad White will pass protect well. I don't know. I like the Commanders. Obviously, I am in the bag for Big Jaden. Would love to see him and Bucky get back on track this year. But I'm taking a lot more Jaden than Bucky. Like I think Bucky's actually looking better as the offseason's going on for the Bucks. But I still think, Jaden to me is like, I think there's massive talent there. I think he'd be like 1,000-yard rusher as a QB. So you take that shot. Got to stay healthy, obviously. Or we need RB desperately, but Diggs would be a nice pick here, theoretically. Fucking Corum goes. I mean, that was the pick for me. Kenneth Gainwell, still a good pick. We got an 8-pick discount on Diggs. I mean, look, whatever. I think it's got to be Diggs. I think it's got to be. Stephon Diggs, wide receiver 4, come on down. It's a lot of capital at receiver, 191 points of capital. The RB room's going to suck. That was a real sliding doors moment. Was hoping there was a chance that like Gainwell would come back and have some options here, but I don't think I am. I don't think I'm going to have anything good. Tough seeing. All right. I think whatever RB is available coming up next, I have to take them. It doesn't even matter. All right, we got some lineups moving up. I can't believe NFL is 20 days away, guys. It's crazy. And so in the weeds on NBA and MLB now. It's like there's been no real buildup for me into the NFL season. It's like, oh, it's fucking here. I gotta have all my stuff ready to go. And hopefully looking pretty. All right, what is the BBC going to recommend? I mean, it's got to be Krosky Merritt, right? Like Stafford to be a good click here as well. Obviously, it does correlate. It's giving me Alec Pierce. I'm going to overrule here and go Krosky Merritt. Still at an 8.5% win rate. 6.5%. We are a little bit lacking at QB, though. This is tough, man. I feel like the Brock Bowers on DraftKings, I think you feel that early Brock Bowers so much more. And also, too, like not getting early RB. And, Montgomery's round 4, but like you just don't get RB in those first 3 rounds. And I don't know, the team doesn't feel DOA or anything, but it doesn't feel as potent on DraftKings as when you just get 1 RB in those first 3 rounds. But the team so far, let's give it a read. We got Jaden Daniels, David Montgomery, Bashal Tootin leading the way at RB. We got Puka Nacua, Nico Collins, Brock Bowers, Michael Wilson, then Brock Bowers, Stephon Diggs, nice value on him. Krosky Merritt as well, increasing our Washington bet. I'm cool with that. There are a lot of QB piggies. That's true. I mean, that's always the case on DraftKings, I feel like. But yeah, I mean, Jaden's going to have to carry a lot of water for me, but I knew that. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think I needed 1 more RB in there. Really, it's just not Brock Bowers. If I took, there wasn't an RB there. Like, who was available? I took Brock at 21. So I would have had to reach all the way up for Javonte Williams or Kyron here. So no Nico, but Nico was a good value, so I don't feel bad taking Nico. Oh, well. It broke the way it broke. I think maybe the move is not taking Jaden. You don't take Jaden here. You take an RB, push the QB issue a little bit further. I could have gotten anybody who has some projection points. Lawrence would have been fine. Herbert would have been fine. I think that's the deviation point that would have made it better. But it's okay. I think it's important to break teams down like that because I've now spent enough time in the data weeds on how these teams get built. With the Best Ball Champion sim, I do think you'd see where the point is that could have been better. But I like getting Jaden. The sim will always try to get you to get a QB in that range because QB projection points drop off. Not a cliff because then you got the tier with Trevor Lawrence, but then it drops off Trevor Lawrence, and then it drops off to the next tier beyond that. So you do usually want to get a QB, your first QB, and that hurts. Jaden, Drake May, Caleb, Burrow, range. Lamar is fine too. I feel like Josh Allen, BBMDB does not like it. My sim does not like him usually. Still think you want to get some because he could absolutely win you week 17. I just don't know if you need it as much as you used to. We got a pick coming up here. And guys, if you can, please do show some love. Again, this is just a one-man shop here. No sponsor right now. Just doing the best I can to keep this running in the best ball or the NFL offseason. Please show some love. Hit that like button and subscribe. Of course, normally I'm doing videos every day for the MLB. Did one today at 10:30 a.m. Getting ready for the early slate on there. But please show some love because it does go a long way for me here on YouTube when you hit that like button and subscribe. We're on the clock here. Good RB, just really not coming up at all. Manungai hanging around. Alec Pierce hanging around if I want to really try to get more in at receiver, but I don't. I'm going to go Manungai here. I just think we need RB desperately at this point. Happy to take on the injury risk at Manungai at this price tag of pick 118. So he'll be my RB4. Shout out Fact Pump for the Apex tier. Yeah, I'm excited for you guys to get a hand on it. I think it's working really well. Honestly, the thing I'm most worried about is that, and I said it in the Discord, is that somebody because I am going to give some ability to customize the model a little bit. There's going to be 3 tracks you can choose from. One that's focused on cashing the most lineups you possibly can. One that's focused on a balanced build where it's going to cash enough to hopefully keep you afloat, but also give you enough shots at first place. And then one that's entirely designed around first place where that's really going to be your mileage may vary. When you guys might win immediately on it, or you might just get buried night after night because it's happened both ways when I test them every night. But then there's going to be some ability to customize within those 3 tracks. And that's where I'm worried somebody's going to win, and it's going to be the exact same player pool because you're using the same one as me to start off of. But we'll see. We'll see. Shout out Pronto Joe here, hardest working man in the industry. Much love, brother. I appreciate that. I mean, look, I cover all 3 sports, I think, as well as anybody. And, the guys who are good at it don't cover all 3. All of the big 3, rather. I could get better, so I covered PGA. I think that's really it. Eric Lindquist does a good job, though, and he covers the big ones. He covers the big ones. He does cover the big ones. All right, we got another RB here would be helpful, but it is pretty dire at RB. Baker Mayfield coming up. I wouldn't mind Tyler Shuck either. Alec Pierce, still a good value here. 21 picks after ADP. We can really just jam it in their fucking faces at receiver. And I'm going to do that. Alec Pierce, he didn't really get the PRP injection, guys. He's going to be okay at some point. At pick 124, we have gone too far here. I know Keenan Allen is there. They are not the same kind of player. And also, I will say, I got to take the L on Keenan Allen. I didn't draft him at all this year. Just really didn't think he was going to go anywhere that wasn't the West Coast. He was abundantly clear last year. He didn't want to go anywhere that wasn't the West Coast. Obviously, those jobs dried up this season. But I had Keenan Allen, if you guys recall, a shitload last year. I'll tell you who didn't really matter for my portfolio, and he was still good last year. Keenan Allen, I really don't think we need to go nuts about getting him again this year. If you got him in the 20th round, 18th round on Underdog, awesome. He's probably more valuable than that across the board now. But I got that shit right last year. Didn't matter. He was fine. He didn't really mean a lot to the results week after week. He gave you usable scores. But if you're relying on Keenan Allen week after week, probably not really showing you the ceiling. Let's give the team a read here. We got Jaden, David Montgomery, Bashal Tootin as part of our 4 RB room here. We started too late there. Puka-Bowers, Nico Collins, Michael Wilson as wide receiver 3. Brock Bowers, our elite tight end. Stephon Diggs, Krosky Merritt, Manungai, Alec Pierce absorbing some of the injury value because to me, that's just the way you play this time of year. And we need to get more at QB. We need to get more at RB. Not at Arby's, but, I don't mind Arby's. But QB really need to desperately get some more at. RB, less desperate. I feel like this turn here is really going to dictate how my QB day goes. Let's see. All right, MLB moving up a little. I just don't see any real outliers yet. Eh. Would love to have like a nice MLB sweat while doing a best ball draft, but I think the game's too much time left in all the games as well. You see Shuck Willis goes. Keaton Mitchell, my boy, goes. Pick 131. Perfect RB3, RB4, RB5. Just love Keaton Mitchell this year. Look at his underlying numbers. But I really think the way the Chargers went out of the way to get him stands out to me. If you're going to advocate against Keaton Mitchell, Kamani Vidal, I do think is going to have, they've said it, is going to have a pass role. Obviously, Hampton's going to have the main bell cow role. And Keaton Mitchell, 14% avoided tackle rate, nothing special there. Good EPA per rush, though, for a guy who got some actual touches. And he got targets when he ran a route. 27% target per out run. 1.2 red zone rushes a game for a guy who wasn't, a bell cow. It's not bad. Obviously, a new team. We'll see how they use him. But I think they are paying him enough and prioritized him enough that I assume he's going to matter. Wish he had a little more juice. I wish I looked at those numbers and it was like, oh, yeah, like he didn't get a lot of touches, but he had a 30% avoided tackle rate. Then I'd be like, this is it. Like, we're getting it. But I think he's more really straight line and go, like, make a good cut, get into the open field. So him not having a huge avoided tackle rate, not a disqualifier for me. That's just one of those things, though, where, like, for baseball, you watch my videos, it's like I look up isolated power, look up WRC+. That tells me right away how good the hitting composition is. For an RB, it's like, does he miss tackles? He does? Great. He can do more then. If he doesn't miss tackles, well, what's the role? Like, I think that's the way you look at it. You wanted Mitchell, but the BBC would have slapped you across the face for it for our guy Chunk. Yeah, you got enough with Cook, Chase Brown, Breece Hall. But I still think, him as an RB4 there, you could override it a little. But I think you need more at receiver at this point, right? Yeah, you need a good amount more at receiver. For our guy Chunk here, if you're curious in the 10 hole, deuce him up is what his name is. All right. 1451. Daniel Jones. I don't even need to look at the BBC. We got to get a QB in here. Daniel Jones, come on down. Got to think the BBC would have agreed. Best Ball Champion tool here, my sim product. Pretty sure it would have agreed, but yeah. We can't just roll with Jaden Daniels by himself forever. As much as I'd love to. But we could survive with Jaden and Daniel Jones, I think. Still would like to get a third, but this room may not be generous in giving us a third, would be my guess. Tyrone Tracy, I feel like getting more draftable as Cam Scadaboo looks less appealing, but he's dropping in rooms because of the Najee Harris signing. Tracy had the bad pass pickup on a blitz that ended up getting Jackson Dart hurt, or not hurt, but hit hard. I forget if that was a hit that got him hurt. But Tyrone Tracy, I think people are panicking a little bit more. To me, the better sign for Tyrone Tracy was that he was involved at all. I think it was never a good signal for Scadaboo that Tyrone Tracy is like getting touches, involved with the first team, all that. So I still think Tracy's pretty draftable. Najee Harris, he's got nothing left, man. And like, the eye injury is legit. Like that was a legit thing that kind of threw off the trajectory of his career to some extent. All right, we got Tyrone Tracy coming back here. So now we are testing my theory. I know I need more at RB, and I've got 5 receivers. And like, yeah, I think we take Tyrone Tracy. Tyjae Spears is coming up higher for me than Tyrone Tracy. But Tracy's the better ADP pick, which I still believe we want to soak up that value. Tyrone Tracy, my RB5. Still not enough RB capital. You make the case you need like really to keep up with market. 2 more Tyrone Tracys at this ADP to like get this RB room to where it needs to go. But the team we have so far is a 2-5-5-1. We have Jaden Daniels, David Montgomery, Bashal Tootin. If those 2 like really beat out ADP, I think will be good. I think there's a chance they can, but it's like a little too thin. This to me again feels like zero RB teams used to feel. Bashal Tootin, Puka-Nacua, Nico Collins, Michael Wilson, Brock Bowers, Stephon Diggs, Love the value got on Diggs, like Krosky Merritt as well at RB, like Manungai. I think these guys are nice picks to make it up at RB, but still not. We still don't have like that key guy who's going to spike week after week. Alec Pierce, like getting him as a huge value. Daniel Jones, like getting him where I did. Tyron Tracy, like getting him as a value. I mean, like I did the stuff that to me makes for a good team. I just don't know that the way that I attacked the first 3 rounds was right. I think that's really the key thing that I've said enough times. But we still got another fucking forever. Really, man, Underdog, just the speed of a draft. It's more and more pronounced. I feel like this room, the guys who are splash play regulars have moved pretty fast, and yet it's still just dragging ass. You can call it puff in a dress because it's dragging ass. I'll let you guys sit on that one for a minute. I guess no better time. Guys, if you can, hit that like button and subscribe. Goes a long way for when you're dragging ass, much like Puff. Puff working the corners. Please hit the like button. My Puff Daddy working the corners at this point. Hit the like button. Please subscribe. Leave a comment. Goes a long way for this content, especially because it's going to be my last draft video of August because I'm going to be out of town next week, and I do not want to do any work besides the data work and the also Claude building stuff I'll be doing over vacation. Like, that's enough for me. But I will be back after that for some more basketball drafts before the actual season begins. We'll also be previewing all my stuff this year at splashplaypodcast.com for the NFL season coming up. I'm going to put a special video out showing you guys all the new things. So that's coming too. So cool stuff coming on the channel, even though this is it, guys, for best ball for a couple of weeks. Make sure to check out Stochastic too. I'll just plug shit that makes me money. 15% off, promo code SPLASH. Check it out. Splash Sports, check them out. Survivor, $21 million in that. Quick picks as well. Their pick'em formats peer-to-peer. It's a little bit softer than some of the other stuff out there like Underdog, which will fuck your mouth while you're playing pick'ems. But Splash Sports won't do that. They're actually very fair lines on there, and the fact that it's peer-to-peer, much easier to get EV off of that. So check it out. Promo code SPLASH PLAY. You can actually use my MLB data for free over there as well. I forget if it's in the YouTube description on this channel, but it is on the MLB channel if you want to use my Quick Picks EV tool on Splash Sports for free. It doesn't work for Survivor. It does work for the Quick Picks. Will not be sitting on anything Diddy related. There we go. Let's get all the jokes out. Caleb Douglas goes round 14 here. You really don't think he's a special player. If you were to tell me that's one of the Dolphins receivers broke the NFL best ball a year, I would make the bet on Malik Washington. I would make the bet on Greg Dulcich, I think, more than I would Caleb Douglas. I just don't think he's a special talent. And I think when Chris Bell's ready, Chris Bell's going to find his way out there. We should run a sim here, even though I think I see what I would like to do. Tyjae would be it for me. It wants me to keep going receiver. I mean, Keenan Allen at this point, not a bad pick at pick 165. Let's get Keenan. Talk shit about Keenan, but on PPR, pick 166, knowing his ADP is rising. Happy to get some more Keenan here on DraftKings when we have the bet on Daniel Jones. And we'll see what we get on the way back. But I think receiver, we built a good receiver room. The RB room is just the big question. And then Brock Bowers, we need to take somebody else at tight end at some point. But like Brock Bowers is going to carry all the water at tight end, or he's not. And then, and then he was one of the worst ADPs on the board if he doesn't carry any water at tight end. Got a couple people up before we pick. I would have liked Tyjae Spears to come back to me. Would have been happy to absorb him. But our guy Nolan takes him, and I get it. I think Tyjae a very nice pick. Splitting time in the preseason with Tony Pollard. I think there's an assumption that Pollard's going to be the lead back there. I really don't think it's guaranteed. It wants me to go tight end here. But I would be okay with the 7th receiver. I would be okay with the 3rd QB with Brissett at this point. But I think Dylan Sampson is a more important play. So I am going to go Dylan Sampson here. Oh, I don't care. But I like Tyjae regardless. It's really the main point. To me, Tyjae rounds out a room nicely. But I think we're happy to get Dylan Sampson here. I just really feel like with what we see in the preseason, obviously 140-yard plays and everything, but that pass down role being there for him, that was how I thought it was going to go with, Quinshon Judkins, your traditional, first 2 downs, bell cow back. I think Sampson's, first of all, live to take that role if Judkins goes down at any point. But also, like, the pass down role being there for him is not going to be a great team. It's probably going to be a team that with the QB play puts themselves in the third and longs a lot. I think Sampson is so undervalued with where he goes. But the team we have is a 2-6-6-1. We got Jaden Daniels, David Montgomery, Bashal Tootin with Puka Nacua, Nico Collins. Again, these two receivers, like, you got to dial off receiver a little bit, and I did. Then we got Michael Wilson, Brock-Bowers, Stephon Diggs as wide receiver 4. Still feels pretty good to me with where we got him, slightly after ADP. Krosky Merritt, getting him with the Washington bet too. That feels solid. Manungai, Alec Pierce, nice value on him. Daniel Jones paired with it. Tyrone Tracy, Keenan Allen is part of that Indianapolis stack. And then Dylan Sampson at RB. The sim usually wants you to stop at 5, but we got 20 rounds here. So, you know, to me, it's always draft where you're weak. You got to make up for it. And frankly, we're still weak at RB. Like, I think you could take 8 RBs in this team and it probably still wouldn't be enough. Thank you. You're allowed to rescind your apology. Let's see. Do a half closet full of Sean. What would you do with a half closet full of Sean John? I used to wear Sean John back in the day, but I grew out of that, thankfully. I think the resale value is going to be the highest. I don't know that you want to donate it either, because it can be scary for a child to run into those clothes out on the streets. Anyway, team so far. So I was reading an email, which I shouldn't do while I'm on stream. We got 2 QBs. At this point, who's even left at QB? I feel like DraftKings is still not sold on Mendoza. Like, they're happy to take any QB possible. The Mendoza, the number 1 overall pick, who had, you know, probably one of your best college football years ever. It's odd to me that he just doesn't go a lot. 2, I get not taking, because with what he showed in the preseason, in best ball, you know, mainstream best ball draft sites like DraftKings, does feel like you know, people are afraid of risk like that, quote unquote risk. All right, we need the second tight end here. Cade Otton, Gunnar Helm. I got enough Cade Otton here. Gunnar Helm it is. These guys are thinking about it here. I understand. Really does feel like, even with 6 RBs, man, to see the 111 draft capital, like, there are certain things when you use, you know, obviously any product for a while, but like, this is just so light at RB, and it feels like it shouldn't be when you put, you know, 6 guys towards a position. But it is what it is. Nobody taking Jaden Higgins, so nobody's timing out here, which is good. It's kind of fucked up that there are like traps that you have to avoid when you're doing a best ball draft. I'm not sure that's the best way to make new players feel good about the process coming in. Though thankfully, DraftKings clock is literally an eternity. So they have plenty of time to think about not taking Jaden Higgins. I think it's Mendoza for me. I mean, we have Brock-Bowers. I am not a believer in taking a Kirk Cousins type who is just a stopgap for the guy who is the actual future of the franchise. And I really think, to me, like, you know, Jency's expensive. Bowers is also expensive, but, you know, I think willing to take that bet a little bit more. But I really feel like for the Raiders here, the biggest thing is just that, like, I think it's going to be a well-run offense. And I also think too, like, I don't know, guys like Kubiak, I think the most impressive part of what he did last year for Seattle is like a lot of good stuff in the red zone. This year you have more weapons, and it's his ability to do whatever he wants when scheming it. I just think there's a lot of ways out that the Raiders are good this year. And that Mendoza plays and just kind of throws a lot of touchdowns. When he does play. I don't know if it's guaranteed that he plays week 1. In fact, I think it's pretty unlikely he plays the first month, maybe even the half season. He's going to get out there at some point. You got Jaden, David Montgomery on my team, Bashal Tootin, Puka Nacua, Michael Wilson, Brock-Bowers, Stephon Diggs, Krosky Merritt, Kyle Manungai, Alec Pierce, Daniel Jones, Tyrone Tracy, Keenan Allen, Dylan Sampson, Gunnar Helm, Francisco Mendoza, rounding it out here in a 3-6-6-2 build with 3 more rounds to go on DraftKings. Going on, what is it? Is it going to be an hour-long draft? Oh, my Lord. I think if I could change one thing up about my approach, I'd probably just do all my DraftKings drafts as slow drafts. Then I think I'd have a shot at doing 150 on DraftKings. Maybe a lesson to learn for next year. Like, my God, man, why does it have to take an hour? Like, are people like bleeding the clock in the hopes that like they get some news during the draft itself? 10 minutes has been spent on the 12 hole. That might be it. Like, I'm running out of steam because this is taking so fucking long. Like, it just makes it so not enjoyable. Like the breeziness of it. It doesn't need to be a 5-minute draft, but I feel like a half hour is like enough. And I feel the same way. Like I still play Overwatch sometimes, and it's like it's entirely possible that you can, like play an Overwatch game. There's fast ones where it's like there's certain types of games where you have to defend the space for a certain amount of time, and it's like those go fast, and then the players will pick the one where it's like this is going to take 40 minutes. Like, why do we pick the one that takes 40 minutes ever? That's how I feel about it. But I'm also somebody with stuff to do, I guess. So that might be If you don't have stuff to do, maybe you're like, yeah, give me as long as possible here. Soulful's taking 30 seconds for dog shit picks. I mean, I like Sean Tucker and Ted Hurst, so that's good. All right, we got picks coming up here. Let's sim them out. I'm literally running a sim and making my pick and hosting a stream, and I am taking much less time than this guy is. Let's go Booty here. One of the few credible receivers left, though. Happy to get Zachariah Branch. Just seems like he's competing for a role, and that's made the markets cool on him a little bit. You have Dotson. You have Zacchaeus too, right? In Atlanta now. Just want to make sure that's right. I'm pretty sure you do. I think that's his biggest issue is that those guys are kind of blocking him from getting out there. Yeah, Zacchaeus is back on the Falcons. But I think for how that is for Branch, that's made the markets cool, but he's still like special as a talent, whereas those guys have proven they're not special. So I think Branch is one of those guys on DraftKings, especially when he's getting into round 19, round 20. You probably still want to take him. There goes Najee Harris. All right, Tyreek Hill coming up here. Obviously, he is still technically draftable, but you shouldn't really do it. Colby Parkinson here with a bet on the Rams doesn't feel bad. I feel like Waller also not a terrible one given his traditional ability to get into the end zone. But I'll go Parkinson with our Rams bet here. One more tight end, and somehow there is still one more round left because I am in a hell of my own creation, really a prison. Eli Heidenreich coming up here. That's a name. Why? I think it's because his ADP is moving. So the sim is taking signal from that. I'd rather take Troy Franklin. Somebody of note, one of the rookie prospect guys had Troy Franklin being somebody who popped up in their model as like he should break out this year. And I'm like, yeah, he should. You should have last year too. You should have hit the ground running in year one and been really good. But some people believe that. I feel like for this point of a draft, Torrey Horton's still good. Antonio Williams, I think Luke McCaffrey's had a good camp. That's not awesome for him. Obviously, adding Diggs too killed the market's interest. But he is a good, like, low ADOT, do stuff after the catch guy. I think Antonio Williams still draftable, especially if you were like me and have Jaden Daniels right now. DeAndre Hopkins is going to be a coach, it looks like. Probably wouldn't take him. End of a DK draft, though, is rough. Nick Singleton is, to me, contingent value on one leg of the Pollard Spears thing falling apart. Did think he looked good in college 2 years ago. Last year kind of fell down a little bit. Claiborne, I've never really bought into. Just think you got two guys ahead of him, but people think he could be Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs also had a top 12 pick on him. Samaje Perine sometimes comes up in my sim because he will get some third down and distance stuff. I think he's draftable if you just desperately need an RB. Charlie Kolar, the Sidekick's favorite tight end, draftable. Christian Kirk should be draftable. He's not. Connor, same thing. Trevor Etienne, elite pick. Should go in the first round. Nick Chubb, they still have his on Houston. He's not. Joe Mixon's pretty much retired from football. Probably don't want to draft him. There we go. I think we've covered the 20th round adequately. Ugh. Gesicki goes. That's a draftable guy. If I take Gesicki in 18 round drafts on Underdog, if you get him in round 20 on DraftKings, that is good for you. I think I am going to start this Underdog draft too, because this fucking DraftKings shit taking forever. I'd like to be done. I think every week, man, DraftKings, this is how it's always been on stream though. Back in the day, I was the only one doing DK drafts. Oh, they made the new logos. Oh, that's unfortunate on Underdog. Oh, these are hideous. They really, companies that acquire just don't know how to make things not worse. They really fucking don't. I get you want to save money. You want to cut the Gladiator program for people that are doing a lot of drafts. There was a rake back thing on Underdog. I get that. You don't need to change the logo to something much worse. We got one more pick coming up here. Ugh. Please take the entire 30 seconds, every lean. Why not? I'm going to go Torrey Horton here, round 20. A gem, I am sure. Once Cooper Kupp explodes, we'll be good. All right, final team here. On DraftKings, we got Jaden Daniels, David Montgomery, Bashal Tutin, late RB start, even though we did start in round 4. Puka Nacua, Nico Collins, great wide receiver start. Michael Wilson, that's where we dialed off a little bit. Went to Michael Wilson, the third guy. Brock Bowers, I do like him, even though it does appreciably change the room when you take 2 receivers and a tight end in your first 3 rounds. Stephon Diggs, like the value you got on him. Krosky Merritt, Manungai, same thing. Alec Pierce, same thing. Daniel Jones, happy to have him as QB2. Tyrone Tracy, Dylan Sampson, Gunnar Helm. For Francisco Mendoza, again, I think we'll play at some point on a Bowers team. I think he makes sense. Butte, Parkinson, Horton, all draftable, playable guys in the last few rounds. And we did it. We did it. All right. Over to Underdog now, where they change the resolution as you draft and make it look worse. Let's see. This is the 100% view. I normally zoom out a little bit. Looks a little bit less shitty at 100%. On the draft board, you can't see everybody, right? You know, you can't see everybody on the draft board then. All right. Good stuff. For a company that pays so many streamers, you would think they would build the site with that somewhat in mind. Obviously, you got the UX of a drafter is the most important thing, but you could make it look good on stream. Yeah, there you go. That's always the logic. Look at the super successful company with insane growth rates. Also that you're paying $1 billion for. Let's change it right away. I get doing layoffs and stuff. Like you try to increase profitability right away. You get cutting some corners here. You know, some partners or whatever that you're charging too much or charging too much for whatever they're giving you. But I don't know. I don't think you need to change the dog logo. They spent years building up for. The dog is also like the most basic ass, like, what is it? Like Big Dog Brands kind of dog, where that shit used to be. With the shirts where it'd be like, I'd woof at you if I weren't having a beer. I don't even know what the slogans would be. Let's see, Big Dog T shirts. Let's see. Got a pick coming up here. Big Dog Dad. Do I look like an ATM? That's Underdog for you. Hey, does this pick'em look like an ATM, or does it look like something that's ripping you off at every turn, taking all your money? If you can't run with the big dogs, stay on the porch. Stay on the porch. Okay. That was saying sleep on the couch. All right, we're back here. Jonathan Taylor is going to be my pick. I hate CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson at this price, and I love Jonathan Taylor at this price. So Jonathan Taylor, hero RB. Yeah, record speed and shitification. For sure. Well, you know, that's showbiz. All right. Not going to be any receivers coming back that we want. Big time to worry about combinatorial ownership here because I've got a good amount of JT across my entire portfolio. Looks like I've got 10% with Kenneth Walker. Less of Chase Brown here. He is the top option coming up. Could also reach for a receiver, but I think generally you're going to be better off based on how the sim looks with taking another RB here and then dialing off RB for a while. And we're going to do that. Jonathan Taylor, Chase Brown start. And I'm cool with that. Already maxed out our RB capital. You need 155 points of capital. I've got 159. But we're going to have to make it up at receiver everywhere else. There we go. Little RB piggy start here. Play the GIF. Play the GIF. Oink, oink. Can't imagine a world where I don't take Jonathan Taylor and Chase Brown. Chase Brown, the signal that made him move up for a while and then immediately stopped was that he was getting pass game work out of the slot. That always makes people cream themselves. Like, he's going to be the one who does it. And every year, it's like Tony Pollard back in the day was getting slot work. Fucking went nowhere. Before, Chase Brown here, I think he looks good when you're getting him anywhere from pick 15 to pick 20. Jonathan Taylor, happy to get him top 10. Think he should go ahead of James Cook. And he didn't here. So I'm cool with that. Our guy Brad here. Brad Black and Gold in the 101 with Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs going to make your teams grade out well in BBMDB as long as you don't fuck it up. That much is true. If there's many concerns people have about Bijan, Gibbs has only cemented his situation more so. Getting even more paid in the offseason. You also got Pacheco getting hurt, though he'll be fine. I think Pacheco should have fallen entirely in drafts for having an MCL sprain, I think, is what he had. And he's going to be fine for week 1, supposedly. I mean, look, if your alternative is Pacheco, it's a pretty steep drop-off from Montgomery. I know people aren't like the biggest Montgomery fans of the world, but Pacheco's got zero juice. Probably never did have any. That's that. But definitely going to need to hit receiver hard coming up. I think no matter what was there, like if another RB falls, I would still take receiver as long as we're not reaching like crazy for one. So that's the key thing here, that you'll see the difference between how I would draft and like how you'll see people draft in 2026 taking kind of the wrong lessons from the last few years of the RB renaissance. It's also, this BBMDB team has not gotten graded out yet. I'm so sad. I want to see my grades. Let's see, I got a C here from the other day. This one that we did on stream. It's been a couple hours. It's not, is it too many people trying to do it on BBMDB? Maybe. But I want to know every team's grade as soon as I possibly can. All right. RB is up top again. Shit. All right. So we got Jonathan Taylor, Chase Brown. It wants me to go get T. Higgins. I think in terms of and I get that because of the correlation. Trey McBride, we could also be done at tight end, which I think is kind of appealing at this point. Probably have done this too many times in my portfolio. But I am going to go. No, I haven't. I have no Taylor, Chase Brown, Trey McBride teams. Okay, cool. So we're going to kick the wide receiver can a little bit further. Basically, for me, the key thing is like, all right, we're at pick 33. I don't want to grab Jeremiah Love because I think he's a good play. I have no issue with the high ankle sprain, even though he's obviously got to fall ADP-wise a little bit for it. But we don't need him with Jonathan Taylor and Chase Brown. I don't want to reach up for Igbuka, ahead of ADP when I can absorb a guy who's a little bit of a value. So when I see the combinatorial ownership says I don't have this combo at all, I want to grab it. Obviously, I do want to get receiver in my first 3 rounds if I can. But I also think it's easier to push receiver and kick that can down the road a little bit more. Like RB, you can't do that. Then you build teams like I just built, and that was not one of the better ones I've built. But anyway, that's my view on it. I'm grading slow lately, especially DK drafts. It's probably like a backlog of something in there. Because like I have a few from like, I don't know, 5 days ago that haven't gotten graded yet. Which sucks because like I want to know again where they all stand. But you got to give everybody grace, especially with Patrick over there doing it all by himself. Javonte Williams is recommending here for the third RB. He is a discount Think that would be foolish to not take a receiver here, so I am going to go Garrett Wilson. Probably a very unique team to go Javonte. Let's see. Yeah, I've got no Jonathan Taylor, Chase Brown, Javonte Williams teams, but I don't think I need one when I've already spent that much draft capital at RB. So that's one where the sim will try to dial up your advantage further and go like, oh, you have 3 killer RBs and you're done. But really, when you took 2 with your first 2 rounds, you have spent more than enough capital at RB. You have to have the discipline to go receiver there. So a 0-2-1-1 build, Jonathan Taylor, Chase Brown, Garrett Wilson, Trey McBride's our elite tight end here. You really think we got to get 2 more receivers coming up, then start thinking about QB potentially. That's how that looks for me right now. Let's go to our board view. We'll stick with this one for now. But guys, if you can, please do show some love. Hit that like button and subscribe. It goes a long way for any content you enjoy on YouTube, whether it's me, whether it's Marvel trailers, stuff like that. But really, for me, I'm just one guy doing the work as best I can across the NFL, across the MLB and the NBA on the @SplashPlay Bets channel, doing videos every day. It's been a lot of work in 2026, but I think things are moving in the direction that makes me feel really proud about what we're accomplishing here with what Splash Play is and can be. So please join along for that ride here. Hit the like button, subscribe. I think you guys are going to be really happy with how the NFL product looks this year. Actually, I think I said it, briefly here before. But like I'm thinking about building my own version of StreamYard to make the NFL look even better on stream is my hope. In addition to having the site itself be, worlds better than we did last year, where it's just me uploading my Excel matchup sheet. Now you'll get that stuff built to an actual website with sims that are proprietary, with projections that are proprietary, with lineups too for the first time. So I think it's gonna be cool stuff coming this year for NFL. So please join along with that ride. Like button, subscribe. And of course, check out the site itself, splashplaypodcast.com. Again, no sponsors on the channel right now. So it does mean a lot when you guys sign up on there, because really, I am the sponsor of the channel. And you are locking your price for NFL season. If you want to get the Best Ball Champion tool, you could finish up your last round of the drafts with it for under $40 and still get week 1 of the NFL season, because the timing right now basically means that you'll get that. So I think it's a pretty good deal to get in right now at splashplaypodcast.com/join. So please do that at the aforementioned splashplaypodcast.com/join. All right. Need a receiver desperately, and we'll get one. Which one it is, though, will depend on the room here. I also have no more beers, and it makes me sad because I would like one more beer. It's like the least perfect amount of beers left. Thanks to that DraftKings draft, that goddamn DraftKings draft. Took too long. That's the end of the Modelo Oro. The Oro era has ended. DJ Moore goes. Nice little preseason start for him, besides getting banged up a little bit. I think his role looks more explosive than a Khalil Shakir type has been. Christian Watson coming up here. Got to make it up desperately at receiver. And he's a good guy to do that with Garrett Wilson. I think a nice young receiver room here with these RBs, Taylor and Brown. Really for Garrett Wilson, Christian Watson, don't think we have seen their ceiling yet as a top option. Whether it happens this year for the Jets, we'll see. For Green Bay, though, I don't know, man. A lot of hype around old Matthew Golden. And I really think once we get into games, Christian Watson's going to be better at, getting where you need to go to get open, earning targets, stuff that he's been good at that I don't think Golden has in his bag. But we'll see. Sim recommending QB at this point. There are no receivers on the board unless we went up for Quentin Johnston, which is not where my sim wants to go. It does want me to go Joe Burrow with Chase Brown. But I'm going to go with my more base instincts and go to Jaden Daniels here. Yeah, he's falling in rooms, but I don't think he was going to fall to pick 80, which is where I pick next. So we'll go Jaden Daniels. So we got a Jaden, Jonathan Taylor, Chase Brown start. Receiver room is a little dire so far. Going to have to add volume and a lot of guys fast. We got Garrett Wilson and Christian Watson, who I think feel more like a 2 and a 3 than a 1 and a 2. But we'll get there. And Trey McBride, our elite tight end, that I have no issues with. Any concerns I had about the offense moving away from Drew Petzing to LaFleur this year is going to be something that I think has been assuaged so far. I feel like that offense looked good in the preseason, and obviously that's not with our key guys. McBride getting preserved pretty meaningfully as well in the preseason. So, we haven't seen it from him in this offense, but I think it'll be perfectly fine for him. You would have taken Jaden with one of your picks? I mean, I don't think he was coming back to 80 no matter what. So that's fine. People are happy to let Jaden fall to the 70s now because of the lawsuit thing. He's not falling to 80 because of it, usually. Maybe on DraftKings, because I think that did actually happen. I did one DraftKings draft the other day. All right. I got to drink water. Damn you, DraftKings. I had the perfect amount of beer for 3 BBMs, not for 2 BBMs and a DK Millie. That feels like living in purgatory. But as long as I don't get fucked at receiver, I think this team's going to grade out well in terms of how I view things, if not actual grades on BBMDB. So we'll see. How are things going in MLB? Not great today. Oof, nothing breaking out in the knuckleball. Mini Max, top 50. Probably doesn't have the juice to win. St. Louis went nuts, though. That was a stack I talked about today. But I don't know. Maybe something will break loose late. How am I going to afford 140 DK best ball drafts on slow? Actually, I can't even do slow now, right? I guess you probably can for a couple more weeks. Or another week, rather. But how am I going to afford doing 140 DK slow drafts if I don't win an MLB tournament today, ideally? I stand by, though. I would have maxed DraftKings if it were not a 30-second clock in 20 rounds. And I hope they take that feedback earnestly. I'm sure they don't care about anything I have to say. But that said, really think they should take that to heart, man. Just a huge difference between playing something for 30 minutes as opposed to an hour. I say that as somebody like, part of the reason I play NBA 2K still is like, I get one game in and it's like, cool, I played a video game, kind of reset, myself for whatever I needed to. If I were playing it for a couple hours, it would kind of, dampen the effect a little bit. God, we are in dire straits at receiver. I think these next 2 picks have to be receiver. So hopefully it'll be good. Somebody take Caleb. One of these guys has got to take Caleb, I hope. Take your second QB. You need it. Kyle Pitts at pick 77? Fuck, man. I like Kyle Pitts too, but that's too much. What is it? Isn't his ADP like 100? Mm. 102 ADP and he took him at 77. That's no good. That's no good. All right, it's recommending Jaden Reed for the Green Bay stack, but I'm going to go Quentin Johnston here. I'm going to take that discount like Quentin Johnston for what is portended his role in this offense this year. A lot of yak potential for him potentially. That's great. But Quentin Johnston, I think the McDaniel stuff all bodes well for him. Probably bodes better for Ladd McConkey, who might get the best version of Tyreek Hill for himself this year. But I like Quentin Johnston giving me some touchdown equity in an offense that looks like, based on Vegas totals, should be one of your highest scoring of the year. And we'll see what these guys do. We definitely don't need RB. Would have loved to have gotten Jaden Reed back. But I still think the right move was taking a discounted Quentin Johnston as opposed to reaching for Jaden Reed. Not going to absorb the Jordan Addison discount. I will go up and get, the Jordan Tyson discount. I will go up and get Jordan Addison, who has a week 16 correlation? You got a week 16 correlation with Jaden for Minnesota. So we got Jaden Daniels at QB, Jonathan Taylor, Chase Brown, Garrett Wilson, Christian Watson, Quentin Johnston, Jordan Addison. Obviously, not taking Jalen Tyson or Jordan Tyson right now because of the fact, I keep saying Jalen Tyson, that's the basketball player. Jordan Tyson, because of the fact that he is banged up. He's normally going in these rooms and DraftKings rooms like 20 picks after ADP. He apparently will be back in October, but you don't want to pay anywhere near premiums for Jordan Tyson at this point. So did not take him. Took the other Jordan instead. We're making up capital at receiver, but we're not where we need to be yet. Looking okay at QB. We'll get there with our second guy, maybe a third. Tight end, we're very good with Trey McBride. Team right now is a 1-2-4-1 with Jaden Daniels, Jonathan Taylor, Chase Brown, Garrett Wilson, Christian Watson, Quentin Johnston, and Jordan Addison here. Trey McBride got a little bit of a discount as well at tight end. Just absorb those little ADP discounts. Always the way we're going to try to draft here. Rico Dowdle goes. Still like him as a pick. There was a report earlier in camp that he was getting all the base down work with Warren getting work less. And I feel like that never hit the market in any real way. Like Jalen Warren never moved at all. Rico Dowdle didn't move up. And then things I think, kind of regress to what you'd expect where they're splitting more base down work. But I do think it doesn't look great for Warren. To me, it should have been one of those, maybe not a full Jonathan Brooks, Chuba Hubbard flip. But I do think there should have been some sort of leveling out of Jalen Warren and Rico Dowdle, and it just never really came. Still have Rico Dowdle going today, 20 picks after Jalen Warren. That doesn't feel right to me. I feel like that one, Judkins versus Dylan Sampson, not quite the same because you're not competing over base down work. I don't think that's Sampson's real situation there. But that's one too where it's like that's too big of a discrepancy too. And I take Judkins at ADP. Like I'm trying to catch up and get with the field on him. I think I actually did recently do that. Let's see. Where am I at on Judkins? I got 6% Judkins across everything on Underdog post NFL draft. I think for me, that's an okay number. But I like Judkins enough. I'm trying to get to 8 and be with the field on him. But I think Sampson just being so much cheaper. I don't know. People love the Blake Corum one, like him versus Kyron. And I think that's one where it's like Kyron deserves to be where he goes and Corum deserves to be where he goes. But I think some of these should close the gap a little bit. And, to me, Warren and Rico Dowdle is just one of those that should have had that gap close a little bit more. All right, we're coming up here with our 1-2-4-1 build. Again, mostly feeling pretty good at RB, not feeling good at receiver yet. Sim saying go receiver, obviously. Michael Pittman is the top option here, which I'm a little bit low on. He's not had a great camp. Matthew Golden, I would like to get more of here. I do think he and Christian Watson kind of eat from the same situational plate. So I am going to go Matthew Golden. Seems like he'll be your sacrificial X / just X if things go well for Green Bay, and they're going to move Christian Watson around a little bit. But I think there is certainly a world where these guys can both pay off this year and ping pong back and forth. So I will go with Matthew Golden as my 5th receiver. Definitely not enough capital at receiver based on these measurements here. So we might have to add like 3 more on top. I think QB is going to also be a priority spot for this next pick. This guy went up to get Jordan Love. Okay. Wanted Jordan Love. I'm cool just taking Brock Purdy here as a value. 10 spots after ADP. Sure. If we didn't get sniped on Jordan Love, probably would have gone for the stack there with Watson and Golden. But we got sniped on Jordan Love. So we go Brock Purdy. So we got a Jaden Daniels, Brock Purdy QB room here. In terms of QB capital, pretty close to where we have to be. At RB, we got a lot early on with Jonathan Taylor and Chase Brown as our first 2 picks. Then Garrett Wilson, Christian Watson, Quentin Johnston, Jordan Addison, Matthew Golden. Not the best receiver room I've ever had. And really feel like I needed one more here. Maybe instead of Trey McBride. I feel like with the 2 elite RBs, just needed one more receiver, not an elite tight end. And I think this would be exactly where it has to be. But we got Trey McBride. Got a decent receiver room. We'll add 2 or 3 more on. I think it'll get there. All right. Guys, if you can, show some love, hit that like button and subscribe. Trying to get this NFL channel back up and running here because it's NFL DFS season coming in 20 days. That's when things kick off. Wednesday night football game this year with the Patriots in Seattle is going to be the first one. Then we have a Thursday night game. Then we have a main slate. It's going to be a busy week 1 here, but I'm going to be here for it. Hit that like button and subscribe, and we'll get some more best ball drafts in as well. Just not next week because I am going to be on vacation, even though, site will still be up and running. Data will still be flowing for MLB, all that stuff. And I'll still be working too, actually, because I got to get NFL up and going. Go to my site, guys. That's what I'm working on most of my days. Splashlightpodcast.com. Updating data all the time for MLB around the clock. Also, building more and more products every day. Really think the portfolio builder tool, which is going to be launching soon for MLB, it'll be available from the moment NFL starts as well. It's a really cool tool. I think the hardest part of DFS is picking the actual lineups that you are trying to play every day. I know it's something where stochastic, you see the winners in there somewhere. People struggle with that. So I'm going to give you ways to accomplish that this year at splashplaypodcast.com, including my own lineups and a way to use stochastics lineups in hopefully a more intelligent way as well. But it's coming at splashplaypodcast.com this year. Get in now, lock in your price under $40 for VIP. We'll give you the best ball champion in the first week of NFL DFS on the site right now for that paltry amount of money. All right. Back on the clock here. Appreciate this guy, Chunk. The growth you've shown after being sniped is both lovely and a little depressing at the same time. I mean, that's what I do in everything. We're always trying to grow here. We're growers, not showers. Wait a minute. That's not what you want. But I'll tell you what, we are now through 10 rounds and I am still on 2 RBs because that is where we listen to this draft capital thing the most. Biggest issue that people have in best ball is not knowing when to dial off a position. Even though the field's got sharper, that has not changed. See so many people that are just happy to put up 5 rounds in a row of RB drafting, 4 rounds in a row of RB drafting in your first 4 rounds. Never going to win. Never. And I believe that anything can win. And I still strongly believe that will never win. Especially with the real-time assistance this year. Solver seems like it's a lot better this year. My tool for the 100 people that are using it, probably less. Doing well for those people. Sidekick, presume has a couple hundred people doing that. But you know how I feel about it. I just try to tell you. Drill it into your head. 2251 here. Aaron Jones would not be a bad RB at this point. Got to get the third one at some point. Sim agrees. Time to get that third RB. Aaron Jones, come on down. Like old man Aaron Jones, people not as into these days. Still a vet. He was still honestly as good as he's ever been in his career last year. You can see here on the Splash Play dossier, a solid 0.03 EPA per rush. Negative EPA per pass is not great, but some of that might be the J.J. McCarthy trickle down. He'll lose some targets with Kyler Murray this year, theoretically. Though Kyler's not running as much as he used to, so maybe not. Avoided tackle rate in the run game is bad. We're talking Pacheco levels at 9%. Yeah, he's got no juice left, but still a 25% target per out run. I just really think in the past, maybe I would have critiqued Aaron Jones more for oh, he's old. He's got nothing left in the stats that make me feel like he is still good. But he's in a decent situation. Khalil Shakir coming up. Chikakonko coming up. Shakir, a little bit of an ADP value. I feel like DJ Moore looking good in the preseason has made people less inclined for Shakir. I've not been the biggest on Shakir this year. You can see I've only got 6.4%. But he's fine. We're just adding volume at this point at the receiver position, so we'll take him here. Is he a better click than Rashid Shaheed at this point? I don't think so. But I've got 10% Shaheed. I've got 15% Denzel Boston. We're not taking Jaden Higgins, obviously, so it is what it is. Let's go to the big board view here. All right, there we go. Oh, man, last draft of the day, guys. So please show some love. Hit that like button and subscribe. I feel like this could have been a tight hour and a half video if DraftKings wasn't so cruel. But I am here doing the work one more time in August. Then we'll have a week off next week and back in September for my last round of best ball drafts here on the channel. But of course, here, really think the biggest thing to take away is watch some of the videos I put up this year, then just get the best ball champion, pair those two things together, and you'll probably be getting it in good down the home stretch of the best ball season. But please hit that like button, please subscribe. And of course, I'll be strapping in for the big work coming all NFL year. As you guys know, I go from week 1 through the Super Bowl, and that is the case again here. Much like NBA, I go from week 1 or game 1 through the NBA Finals. That's just what I do. MLB, though, we're not going through the playoffs. That much I can tell you. MLB, I am done the moment the regular season ends. Then we'll have, 2 weeks, and then it's NBA. So it'll be good times. Okay. So I think at this point, we're going to have to add a couple more RBs, but draft capital-wise, we don't need them. We're going to have to add a couple more receivers, but draft capital-wise, we desperately need those to be somewhat decent. We're in a range, though, where there's nothing good left. I mean, the receiver, we have Travis Hunter, Jalen McMillan, Trey Tucker's okay. Trey Harris, not a guy I want to take a lot of at this point. I've got my 8% rounded up. It's really tough at receiver at this point. I've got 6. Like, I've got enough. I just don't think they're a great 6. Really don't think they're a great 6. Crazy, there's still a month of MLB left. Yeah, it sure is. Though honestly, I'm glad there is at this point. I'm just worried what the September tournaments are going to look like because I feel like we're already getting a lot of 25K up top tournaments in MLB. But to me, the key thing is, like, as long as there's as long as the 20 maxes and the mini max are 1K up top, it still makes sense for me bankroll wise. So I'll keep playing it. But it's been a good, month of MLB for me to claw back the bad stretch of product development, trying to figure out MLB. But I'm ready for just NFL and then just NBA. Well, then both, I guess. But, just NBA in terms of a daily cadence. I need another RB here. I need another tight end. I need fucking everything. I'm going to go Jalen McMillan here. No people down on him. I think Ted Hurst is a bit of a concern. He's a bigger body. But McMillan is a guy that has, people kind of downgraded him for health. But he's fine. I think he's already, going to be back out there, if not already back out there. I forget exactly where his status is right now. Ted Hurst is a different kind of player, but McMillan has shown some relationship with Baker Mayfield that I think, is viable for upside there. So that's what it looks like right now. Marshawn Lloyd coming back here would not be bad. I feel like I need the receiver a little bit more in Trey Tucker potentially. The BBC thinks I need a tight end more, which I don't agree with. I'm going to take my boy Marshawn. I feel like we have a pretty good Green Bay bet here. I need the 4th RB at some point. And I don't think Trey Tucker, Omar Cooper guys that make or break this team. Flournoy is a pretty good pick, though. But it's okay. 4th RB here. 2-4-7-1. I feel like the CM is, I'm not sure how this feels for me, but we got good RBs in the receiver room. We add volume out of nothing else. We got Jane Daniels and Brock Purdy. At RB, Jonathan Taylor, Chase Brown, Aaron Jones, Marshawn Lloyd. Receiver, Garrett Wilson, Christian Watson, Quentin Johnston, Jordan Addison, Matthew Golden, Khalil Shakir, Jalen McMillan. Tight end, Trey McBride. Obviously, we're covered at tight end when you take either McBride or Bowers. To a lesser extent, Loveland too. Receiver room is as good as it can get. It's just a little bit shy here. We'll get to the draft capital minimum, though. In the RB room, I think we just got to be done. I could certainly take the 5th RB here. I feel like one more QB wouldn't be bad. Have to take at least one more tight end, maybe 2. At least one more receiver, maybe 2. Oops, why did everything? There we go. Switch back here. Any fun addition for UD dailies this season? I gotta be real, I couldn't care less about Underdog dailies. Some people have asked me to support it. I don't know that it's enough people to justify it. If there is anything I do for Underdog dailies, it'll be on the Apex tier, which is gonna be $100 a month. Most of my focus is on DraftKings because those games will exist. Underdog, I don't know what the future looks like for that stuff. Best ball, there'll be things, I think, regardless. For dailies, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, and I have no reason to do it. If people don't sign up and aren't paying for it. If people are paying for it, I can figure it out because I'm going to be building projections anyway. But it's not a priority for me. I've had some guys, I asked in the Discord, and 2 people were like, yeah, I'd love to do it. So I don't know. It's hard to kind of get a census on what people want. And I know they want DraftKings. I don't get the sense that they want Underdog that much. Few do. We got a 2-4-7-1 build here. We got Jaden and Brock Purdy at QB. At RB, Jonathan Taylor, Chase Brown. 2 picks up top here, so we spent really right away more than enough capital at RB. Aaron Jones and Marshawn Lloyd rounding out the RB room. At receiver, Garrett Wilson, Christian Watson, Quentin Johnston, Jordan Addison, Matthew Golden, Khalil Shakir, and Jalen McMillan. Again, I feel like it's not the greatest receiver room ever, but that's not a hot take. And then tight end, Trey McBride. I feel like a lot of people are comfortable playing a receiver room like that. I think you still got to get one more good guy in there than I have. But it's okay. think I'm saying it's okay too much, which means the team is probably not that great. You're sure you'll be broke by the time the season rolls around? I hope not. To me, I'm trying to build up enough bankroll with MLB down the stretch where I can really put in some heavy entries, at least for maxing out the Millie Maker week 1. But I think I'm going to probably do that no matter what, the $5 one. And then pray that I built good enough tools. Tank Dell here, Hawkinson here. I really don't feel the urgency to get another tight end, and I do feel some urgency at receiver to make that better. So I'm going to go Tank Dell. Feel like his situation has greatly improved with the Higgins injury as well. And there we go. We have gotten Green at receiver. So it took 8 guys, but we got the capital we need. I will say BBMDB does penalize you more for these kind of weird constructions than my sim does. My sim generally feels like if you threw volume at it late, you're okay. BBMDB, if you didn't get enough quality early on, I do think the drafts look a little bit less good because I've tried to play with the structure a little bit more because I feel like I built enough similar teams around certain plots of land ADP wise. When I try to do weird shit, it is not always rewarded in the BBMDB grades. That's what having process is, right? Doesn't mean the team's dead. It just means that I would like it to look good and it doesn't. Yeah. All right. Dylan Sampson tempting at RB, even though I do have my 4 and I should be good to go. I really do think Dylan Sampson's a nice pick. Tight end here, AJ Barner, wouldn't mind him to be my tight end too, because we only have Trey McBride. Caleb Douglas, though, I feel like it's not a bad pick here at this point. Clearly surging ADP-wise to get him in round 16, I don't think is that bad. And I'm going to do that here. I'm going to take a share of Caleb Douglas, my 9th receiver. But I really feel like I did not take enough at receiver no matter what the sim says. So I'm going to try to correct that here. So Caleb Douglas, my wide receiver 9, added to a room with Garrett Wilson, Christian Watson, Quentin Johnston, Jordan Addison, Matthew Golden, Khalil Shakir, Jalen McMillan, Tank Dell. It's not a great room, but I think that plays volume-wise. QB, we have Jaden Daniels and Brock Purdy. We've been good there, I think, the whole time. RB, Jonathan Taylor, Chase Brown, Aaron Jones, Marshawn Lloyd. I think we are good there. The top 2, frankly, if they don't make it, we're fucked no matter what. And tight end, Trey McBride. Going to add at least one more tight end on, but we'll see what the quality is when we get there. That's the old big board view here. Okay, Alex is texting. Still on stream. She's off work tomorrow, so she's excited because she is now fully done, I think. Happy for her. Some of us just have a little more hustle in us, I think that's the difference between being full-time and the difference between making money off your website where you sell data and tools. All right, we got a couple that are moving up, but I really don't think it's going to be a great MLB day. Unfortunate. Two picks left, though. At this point, I think we got to be done at receiver. I think it could be another QB. Has to be another tight end, obviously, no matter who that is. But yeah, receiver and RB, not going to be touched the next 2 rounds, I think, regardless. Brissett was who I was hoping would come all the way back. I think that would have been a nice 3rd QB. At this point, I think the Carson Beck bet has gotten a lot less good. Him losing time in the preseason is not good for him earning a foothold and really threatening to unseat Brissett. If the team is just dog shit, which they may very well be, Beck's going to play at some point. But I still think if you're making a bet on Trey McBride, on Harrison, you still want to make the bet on Brissett because that's how you actually pay off in the way you have to. Pat Freiermuth, a lot of good camp reports on him. Apparently a much more important part of the offense this year. Was hoping he was going to come back to me, and he does. I think a McBride/Bowers pairing with Freiermuth, if that's your second tight end and that's all you do, I think that's viable. So that's why happy to get Freiermuth back here. And we got one more pick left, and we will call it a day. A groomsman for a buddy's wedding tomorrow. I haven't been outside with a hat in 3 years. Okay. Well, it is important to, do that sometimes, I think. Let that hair breathe. Of course, I say that as somebody that wears a hat on stream every day, but that's mostly because I don't want to do my hair, especially now that it's longer. If I had to do my hair every day for you guys on stream, I'd fucking, you know, it's not where I want to be. All right, 2492 here. QB dried out completely. Was hoping I'd get Brissett and a tight end on the way back, and it's not going to work out. Sim wants me to go one more RB here. I could take Sean Tucker. We got a little bit of a Tampa Bay bet. Sean Tucker seemingly still on path to be your goal line RB. Tight end could have done the Parkinson and Njoku. Poor Eli Stowers, I still have too much of, but he has not been involved enough. Don't really like this tier of tight end. So that's it. That's the final team here. We got Jaden Daniels, Brock Purdy as our QB room. We got Jonathan Taylor, Chase Brown, Aaron Jones, Marshawn Lloyd, Sean Tucker still got to 5 RBs, even though we didn't really need to, with taking as much draft capital as we did early on with Taylor and Chase Brown. A receiver, we got Garrett Wilson, Christian Watson, Quentin Johnston, Jordan Addison, Matthew Golden, Khalil Shakir, Jalen McMillan, Tank Dell, Caleb Douglas. Mixed in a bunch of bodies here because we skipped those first couple rounds with 2 RBs and Trey McBride. The Trey McBride, our elite tight end, Pat Freiermuth, the non-elite tight end at the end. That's the team here. I think that's going to grade out decently, would be my guess. But I'm happy with it, and that's ultimately what matters here, guys. That is it. 2 hours and 10 minutes. Blame DraftKings. I do. But before we do go, guys, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Again, it helps out a lot here as we try to get things moving for NFL DFS season. Like I mentioned, I'm going to be out next week across MLB and NFL on this channel. But I will be back getting one more round of best ball drafts the week before the season starts. We got 20 days, guys, to get your drafts in. And, of course, feel free to watch some old videos on the channel, too, because I think there's been insightful points throughout. Splash Sports, check them out if you want. Getting further Survivor stuff with the promo code SplashPlay, $21 million up top there. Do recommend checking that out. Quick Pick stuff is also good with the promo code SplashPlay, but get the 50% deposit bonus, 100% Quick Picks boost right now with the promo code SplashPlay over at Splash Sports. And my site, guys, that's a big one. Getting there now. If you get in now, you'll have the entire rest of the draft cycle with the Best Ball Champion. And you'll also get week 1 with my data for NFL, projections, sims, all that stuff, and more to come. The Apex tier launching with the Portfolio Builder. My own lineups for the first time for MLB, then for NFL shortly after. For NBA, it'll also be there for the start of the season. Very excited for how things are going to look in the fall, guys. So join in now at splashplaypodcast.com. And honestly, get in now and you can upgrade to the Apex tier when it launches probably 7 to 10 days from now. All right. I was going to say Splash Plays of the Day. There's no Splash Plays of the Day. The Splash Play of the Day is the Best Ball Champion. Check it out yourself. Make sure to gamble responsibly, guys, even though it is always money time on this channel. Shout out to all you guys that watch live. Shout out to all you guys who will also watch after the fact. Feel free to hit me up on Discord if you have stuff. I will be around doing coding, doing data next week. But otherwise, I'll see you guys again soon. So if you're getting in your final entries, good luck down the home stretch. I will also be working hard at maxing out BBM, getting some more in on DraftKings as best I can. And we'll see how it goes, guys. But and actually, I think Best Ball Week on DraftKings might be next week, too. So keep your eyes peeled for deals there. I'm not promoting it, but just so you know, watch out for it. But I'll see you guys again soon. Enjoy your days. Good luck. Appreciate all you guys being here. And catch you later for more. All right, bye, guys.